Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Creatives of Windsor Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Shirtout, and today I'm sitting down with Bryan Datoc, the co-owner and co-founder of Craft Heads Brewing Co.
Thanks for having me, Anthony.
Thanks for coming on. It's great. Yeah, I haven't talked to you in a while. So.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
Yeah, and we've known each other for like almost 10 years, I think.
Time flies by.
Yeah, so when's your 10-year anniversary? Next year?
Yeah, 10 years would be February 27th, 2025.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's been a wild ride.
I shot your opening for the Windsor Independent.
Yeah, I was probably in a luchador mask.
You were? Really?
Yeah.
I got to look through those. There's it was 10 years ago. Like those photos are pretty.
Yeah, I think the luchador mask is like, I don't want to be seen, so I'll just wear a luchador mask in every media thing that we were doing. I was wearing a luchador mask, and then I think it was Windsor Star. Like, you can't wear that luchador. I'm like, I want to wear a luchador mask, and I took it off. I'm like, I can't put it back on now.
Do you still work behind the bar and bartend there?
No, I haven't been working behind the bar in a while. We have right now, we're actually at a skeleton crew right now, just with the recent change in the business itself. So long story short, we got our lease renewed in March of 2024, and the terms of the lease were a lot. I guess we were not expecting the increase in rent to that much, and we'd asked our neighbors, other people neighbors like Shawarma Queen next door, Terracotta, people across the street like Whiskey Jack, kind of what their rent is. So we had an idea of what rent should be around that area, and so we kind of had planned for that amount. But then when we got the letter back, we we're like, this is a lot more than what we were expecting. And then just going through the finer details of stuff, the square footage, that when we redid the production brewery on Polisher, I had measured it. I had industrial designer measure it. We had drawings for that building, and it was 1,600 square feet. And then on the offer to lease, it was 24 or 2,500 square feet. So we're like, why are we paying for 800, 900 square feet that doesn't exist?
Yeah. On
top of the increased rent. So there was no negotiation back and forth. We've been tenants in that building for not 10 years, pretty much nine and a half years to that point.
Yeah.
And we're there was no negotiation back and forth. It essentially, it felt like they didn't want us to be there. So we started to move quickly on trying to secure another place.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, when did you guys move to the spot on Polisher to start brewing in?
So we moved there, would have been 2019. So it was right before the pandemic. So we were doing all the renovations. You seen our original brewery on University Avenue West. It was that small room. We made it work. We had 8 tanks, our small brew system. We were storing grain and kegs out in the tap room. It was not your I wouldn't say cookie cutter brewery, but it's we just tried to make it work. We had so much space that we could use, and we were just if there's a nook and cranny, we'll put the grain over there. So we were able to, at that point, we got a loan from BDC to renovate the building and then buy more equipment to kind of expand. So we did the whole facade improvement on that building. You put in the garage door, new frontage. We repointed the brick, so we restored the original frontage to the original brick on that building.
Jeez.
So we got a grant from the city to help with that, and we're this is great. We're bringing back the original downtown, the original brick. And then so we had left, I guess, kind of fast forward 10 years, we had left, and then we just took a look at it. We went to take a look at it the other day, and they just painted all the brick black. And I'm just and there was so much renovations. We did not plan to leave whatsoever. We wanted to stay downtown.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have invested what we, the time, the sweat, the blood, the tears into that building.
Yeah.
To leave after 5 years.
No, for sure. So that person just bought that building last year, right?
It was a year or two ago.
And that's the same person who bought Phog.
I believe so. I don't know for certain because I haven't seen what Tom's Phog's lease terms or who owns it, but we have a feeling it is.
That's crazy that you guys don't even know.
Well, yeah, I don't know what his lease is, but I think I think like when I asked him, like when I talked to Tom, I told him like, hey, look, we're gonna be leaving in probably like in a few months. I just want to give you a heads up. Like it was just more of a courteous thing, like expecting just we know that we bounce a lot of ideas off each other, and then a lot of the clientele that we share, a lot of the patrons that we share, like come downtown to go to both our establishments. And if one of us leaves, like if Tom or I would probably be heartbroken. Like I messaged him. I'm like, hey, just want to give you a heads up. Like we just got our new lease terms. It's something that it's not sustainable to stay down here anymore.
Yeah.
So we're going to be moving the brewery production over. We don't know exactly where yet, but we have a couple things in mind. And he's like, then we just had that conversation back and forth. And he's like, yeah, I think I have the same landlord, and they were giving him a hard time kind of on the lease terms too. So I was just like, I think he asked the question if there's like, is there any space there? I'm like, well, actually there is. And that's kind of, we got the ball rolling, and being across Windsor Eats on Erie there.
You guys are in that new building, right?
Like the new building where Knees and Pastry is. So they would be our neighbors. It would be pretty much a parking lot separating us from Windsor Eats, and then under the same building, under the same roof with Phog.
So are you guys gonna be like? Because I went over. Me, Robbie, and Zach from Hutch.
Yeah,
we were over there like a couple weeks ago, and we walked over and we were like looking in the windows and we were like checking it out, and we we're like seeing if the rumors were true. And then you seen
like a broken down fridge, just like all the like a kegs.
We're like, it's true. Yeah. So are you and Phog gonna still be like? Is you guys gonna be in the same room or no? You're still gonna be like Craft Heads and Phog.
Yeah, we're gonna be Craft. So there's two entrances into the building. So we'll each have an entrance, and we'll have a separation door. But I guess I could break this news. The goal is to have it under one liquor license, so you can go from venue to venue. So that would just kind of different vibe. So like if he had a show there, we had a show. You can kind of go back and forth, or kind of be able to join the two rooms if you wanted to. So it's just working on the liquor licensing right now. So we're going through the architectural drawings. We're on our second revision, trying to get the capacity number up, so that way we can do a lot of fun things. And then once those architectural drawings are finalized, you can go to the building department, get their building permit, and then liquor license as well.
It's good to be proactive, and like it's sad that you guys have to leave, but it's also really cool. Like this sounds like it's gonna be fun, you know? It's gonna be sweet.
Yeah, the opportunity, I think, being able to work with Tom over the last 10 years, we've done the Flight Club, we've worked together on so many different projects and events. Same thing with Adriano, and just like whenever you get together, it's always like, oh, let's do this, let's do that, and it's always on the up and up. And like, okay, what can we do to make the most enjoyable experience, or what would be something that people would find fun and memorable? Let's create moments for people.
Yeah.
So like we have a chat right now with like Pina, Adriano, myself, Jason, Tom, and we're just chatting on a few different things. And yeah, it's just this next few months of just the transition period of moving, like getting the brewery up and started, or getting a liquor license to have our tap room back on Erie.
So you're gonna brew in the back.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's all in one spot.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Sweet. So all under one roof, and then we're gonna keep the comedy club downtown for the time being. I think there's a crowd that we have the comedy club with.
Like in the building you're in now.
Yeah, I think that's the plan for right now. And then if things change, but like because the capacity of the new space is going to be a little bit less than what it is where we are currently.
Okay.
So like for the shows and the comedians, like I can't thank them enough. And like they've been putting on amazing shows, bringing people downtown that normally wouldn't be coming downtown for our beer. They're coming for these comedy shows. People from Michigan are coming down. That scene is definitely growing, and being able to be part of that growth has been amazing.
So you guys are still going to stay in your same building? Like, did your rent already go up? Or
yeah,
no?
So we had, I guess we stopped paying, well, I say stop, we just signed a new lease to keep the current building, or the current brewery, the original tap room.
Okay. So did your rent go up in that place too?
Yeah.
And it went up in the spot you were brewing in?
So they were wanting to join the rent all together. And then we're like, no, we just need this. We're going to figure out something else that we're going to do with our brewing space, production space, and just keep our tap room and then kind of convert into a comedy club.
Okay, so that's still like, I guess, affordable for you guys to keep that space then?
Yeah, for the time being, like if we can have like if people keep coming for the shows, we just went over a couple different things for being able to brew at other breweries. So we've been doing a lot of collabs. We're going to contract brew like our staples. So we're going to actually come out with a beer to kind of help with the move, the Erie Street Blonde.
Yeah.
So it's something that I'm hoping that Tom will carry at Phog. We'll have cans and kegs available at our place and at Phog. And if any other licensees want to carry this, just to help that transition. It was something that we didn't expect, the move, and to happen within like a couple 2 to 3 weeks. It's like there's a lot of costs associated because we already moved the brewery once, and I had zero interest in moving it again.
Yeah.
Like we put like the drains right down the middle, like where all our tanks were. We dug up I remember digging up like 400 square feet of concrete, which was, I think some places were a foot thick. So like we dug that up to put insulation underneath our fridge because I'm like, oh, we're not going to move this fridge ever.
Yeah.
So like we're just going to keep this fridge here forever. And we had to take it out maybe like a couple months ago.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Are you guys already brewing in the new place? Do you have the new, like, are you?
So we don't have the licensing for the new place yet.
Okay.
So like that's part of like the building permit is doing all the plumbing to get everything kind of hooked up.
Okay.
So when kind of word had spread about us kind of moving and kind of closing down the brewery space for now, we had reached out to a couple breweries, and a couple breweries had reached out to us like, hey, if there's anything we could do, just let us know. So one of the things that we were trying to figure out was, well, how can we keep some staples, some new beers on tap? And we were able to talk to quite a few of the breweries that we have had relationships with and started brewing different beers at those breweries.
Yeah.
So this is actually one of them. This is from Banded Goose.
Okay.
This is the Bahama Mamas. So it's a collaboration beer, tropical fruit, and it's a bit fruited sour.
Where's that place at?
Banded Goose in Kingsville.
Kingsville. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember making that beer with you for my first art show back in 2016, and we did a coconut beer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love adding fruits to beer to just change it up a little bit. And
yeah, that was fun. I remember we went to the bulk barn, or you went, and you just got like coconut shavings, and we just threw it in there, and that was good. So at the new place, Kate, this is my biggest question. This is more personally for me than for anybody else. I've always loved doing stuff with you.
Yeah.
Is the new place gonna have like a wall where we could hang some work?
Yeah. That was one of the things that we were wanting, is have like a feature wall, like an artist wall. Okay. There's a lot of wall space. When you peeked in, did you see how large?
Kind of, yeah. Well, I saw how big it was. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So there is a lot of wall space. Really high ceilings. So we're gonna kind of drop the ceilings down a little bit.
Okay.
But it's just waiting on the final architectural drawing. Once we get the final architectural drawings, we'll kind of know where everything else will sit.
Okay.
And then like what walls we can kind of do as a feature wall.
Okay. So with I've been doing that locals only show at Phog.
Yeah.
And the last couple times, especially the last time, like, so 2 years ago, a year ago when we did number 3, it was a crazy snowstorm that night.
Yeah.
We hit capacity, but it wasn't too crazy. When I did it in the fall, it was, or did I do it in the fall, the winter, whatever? Whenever I did number 4, like the last one, it was just like too crazy. Like we were turning people away like half an hour after doors open. I hated it. I was like, we're not doing this again. Like I feel so bad. Like, you know, it was just, it's a good thing, but it sucks. So I was talking to Tom, and I'm like, we're doing something different. Of course, he's down for everything. So we were kind of planning out.
That's one thing I learned from Tom. Just say yes and then just figure it out.
Yeah. So maybe for like number 5, if you guys are set and next door to each other, maybe we could do like a 2-room thing.
That's kind of the plan, the idea that we wanted to have that shared space and be able to bring in different people, and then combine our capacities and do something real big. That'd
be so fun. Like you could do like, are you gonna have music in yours too and next door? Yeah. Like you could have band number 1 plays at Craft Heads at 8, and then band 2 plays at Phog at 8:45, and if you can't get into one door, you just wait in the other one.
The thing is, now we can enter Windsor Eats too, and they're just right across the street, right? So obviously the liquor license won't expand obviously to Windsor Eats.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's so we do have an alleyway that we share. So like there might be events in the summer where you can close down the alleyway and have kind of a joint thing together, which I think that would be so fun to do. Some outdoor events like that. Yeah. But like having those three venues like just doorsteps away, like a few steps away from each other, like the opportunities are a lot better than what we have currently right now.
Yeah, and Windsor Eats has food.
Yeah, like the food trucks. I'm excited for the food trucks. It sucks that we're moving away from terracotta.
Yeah, it does suck. Like it sucks, but it's the new ideas are like, at least you got to make the best of it. Yeah. It'd be so. Even like I was thinking like a show where you did like music all night, like going back and forth, but like each venue had different styles. Like Windsor Eats had a DJ, Craft Heads
so you see
folk.
You see so you see the excitement that we had when we talked to Tom, and then we talked to Adriano about like what's the neighborhood like, and then he got really excited because he's been pretty much operating on an island by like him and Tina have been operating on an island by themselves. Yeah. Right. And then they've been like drawing tons of crowd, like awesome events, like very unique events that if they had like the budget of like Tweppy, like I could just imagine the things that Adriano would do. Like everyone would get title belts for like every event, like chalices. I could just imagine the things that they do. But I think that's the exciting part is what the new possibilities are. And having people kind of on the same mind frame of like, hey, let's bring people to the region. Obviously Windsor Eats has food. They have different, like that giant outdoor space. Phog has best live music venue in like the nation. Yeah. So many people like, and then we have like different, like hopefully we can get the beer back up and going fairly soon. Yeah. Just a different vibe and like,
because they'll bring so much, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's one thing to like just to move and be in a new space, but now it's just creating like a little pocket. So creating a little region where, hey, like let's go to Windsor Eats. Oh, there's Phog, there's Craft Heads. Let's go over there. And then now like they can, if they like, try and make sure that they have a good time, so they can tell their friends, be like, hey, we can go here and we can bounce around. Like we'll have some TVs. I don't think Phog will have the TVs. They usually don't. Yeah. So like if there's a sports event playing, like we'll have it probably in the tap room or live music. Yeah, go over to Phog, or if you want to just have a quiet pint, sometimes come to our place if it's a slower night. So yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be cool. I feel bad for villains. Like they're gonna be all alone down there.
Yeah, it's hard. Like with that crew, because when we first started, like not being in the bar industry whatsoever, like it was like Tom and Josh at TBX, Jeff and like Ian eventually, like everyone's open arms of Milk. Yeah. Everyone's kind of open arms, like, hey, like let's do some fun stuff together. So like the Downtown Flight Club, which we do have coming up on July 27th. Yep. It's going to be our final flight club with the 5 of us. Was just doing events, and the whole idea was just like, hey, let's bring a bunch of people downtown. Let's have a good time. Let's do a pub crawl. Let's make sure everyone has a good time. Let's make sure that they have a unique event each time, something they can go home with. So yeah, it's.
Who's the 5th place?
So it was Snack Barbecue originally. Snack Barbecue, Villains, TBX, ourselves, and Phog.
Yeah. So who's doing this one? Meteor, Phog, you guys, Villains,
and Maiden Lane.
Maiden Lane. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Who's that one? Yeah. Okay. So, sweet.
It sucks to be the final one, but you never know. We can kind of reincarnate something on Erie Street. Maybe take a little bit longer walk from Erie Street all the way downtown. So possibilities are still open.
Yeah. I'm excited for this. See, like Adriano and Pina, so I've never worked with them before, and then I just reached out. I was like, I want to kind of do my thing at somewhere new, and also you guys are kind of doing all kinds of stuff, so I was like, this is going to be like the last solo thing I do for a while. I'm going to take like a 4 or 5 year break and just do like collaborative stuff. So I reached out, and they were both like immediately were just like, yeah, sure. Just like you guys have always been. Yeah.
So I think that's one of the, like having a venue and being a gatekeeper of saying no or yes. It's like by saying yes, it's one less hurdle for artists to be like, oh, they might say no. Like if people know that we're going to say yes to events, then people are more likely to do events, right? So like there's that less like, oh, I don't want to be turned down. If you like, you ask Tom, they want to do it, the coaster throwing, like amazing event. You can just do events. I think doing something fun, memorable, it's something I always look back on. You're just like, oh, some fun things that we did.
Yeah, like when we do the photo contests.
Yeah.
Like, and you brought in the microphone for me.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot too, because, then I had the mic. Like, I know it's been a long time since we did one of those. I was thinking about bringing it back.
Oh, 100%. Like, it's cool. It's cool seeing, like, people that are driven like yourselves that want to do stuff that's creative. Like, blocking people from being creative is the worst thing to do.
That's
like, because no one, like, someone passionate is going to work. They're going to find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
No matter what, they're going to be like, okay, I'll not sleep for a week straight to make sure that everything's perfect for this event. Yeah. Like there's some people that will, or like, don't, I won't say don't have that drive, but you can tell like how they ask you the questions or like how excited they get, they'll make it work. And like, you've always done that with any event that you've done at our place.
Yeah. Thanks. And I'm so thankful for you and Tom and everybody who's just like, let me do an event. Cause every time I've ever asked, everybody's said yes, especially you guys like a million times,
Yeah.
It's,
I feel like grateful that you got people want to do events at our place. They're like when like artists ask like, oh, can we do a show like Hutch doing the release show? Like I was going through posters maybe a few months ago and I seen the Hutch poster. I think it was during, I don't know if it was during Flight Club or a patio day, and they had their show. Give me some more. I think it was the Greg Maxwell did the poster.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we had the windows open. We were hearing it from the patio outside. I'm like, oh, this is such a cool vibe. Like you can see everyone just in the tap room, just on like. I don't think we had a stage at the time, but just everyone just having a great time and just smiles on people's face. That's food for the soul.
Yeah, for sure. Greg does everything. Like Greg did the logo for this. I'm assuming he did your shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Does he do every logo for Craft Heads?
Pretty much. I think so. The original logo, like our Craft Heads circle logo, was done by Mateo Roxanich. But pretty much every beer label that we've done has been done by Greg. And we actually did a collage of all the different artwork we have. So this is actually going to be on our website for sale.
Yeah, I want one of those.
Yeah, it's so like you can like some of our brewers are on there and like
is it out? Is that shirt out yet or no?
So so by the time this airs, it'll be out.
It'll be out. Okay.
Yeah, and then on the back of the shirt it has all the beer names. So this is like all the beers that we got labels for, and then all the advent calendar beers that we've done, which is quite a bit. I think there's probably over like 80 or 90, but I think to date we probably brewed over 500 different beers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is Bluesberry Blonde your number one?
Yeah,
seller?
Bluesberry, yeah.
Yeah. What's number two?
Bluesberry, maybe Tropical Whirlpool IPA.
Yeah, that one. When I buy beer from you guys, I usually buy that one.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I do. I've always loved the chocolate peanut butter porter.
That's
the top two.
That's the top one. So like whenever we get people over from Michigan, they'll always ask for the chocolate peanut butter porter. So like there's an app called Untapped for craft breweries. And that's one of the higher rated. Well, that's I think our highest rated beer, or one of the highest rated beer, or at least the most check-ins.
Yeah.
And so people would always come in. I can tell like the app is very easy to see on the phone, so you know that they're checking in the beers.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll get notifications if they comment on stuff. But yeah, it's fun seeing like people will rate it, and then you'll see it like on the phone and like, oh, they're on tap. Let's see what they rated it. So like you're thinking they're doing it like anonymously, but I can tell that like where they took their picture. I'm like, oh, it's this guy, and let's see what he put or what he rated the beer.
Yeah.
So it is pretty funny.
What is Featherhat Guy a top one?
Featherhat Guy is a top one. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
So we actually the three beers that you named are the three shirts. We got actually new shirts, new logo shirts. Blueberry, Turbulent Chocolate Peanut Butter Porter, and Featherhat Guys. So we have shirts. So it'll be Blueberry's blue, Featherhat's green, and then the chocolate peanut butter is like a light tan.
Okay.
So yeah.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys still do like the Sour Patch one? You just changed the name, right?
Yeah, that was a legal issue.
Yeah.
So that was in our original advent calendar. So like one of the things I always wanted to do was an advent calendar, and the first year that we did, like, so usually advent calendars, people will get like different beers from different breweries, and we're like, oh, let's try to make our own. I didn't realize how much work it went into doing. I think the first year we did 32 different beers. because we wanted one for New Year's Day. So we did 32 different beers in 32 days. So like our brewing schedule, I think we stopped brewing for the taps probably in October. So to get like it was just like looking back, I'm like, that was really dumb, but it was just like the accomplishing that advent calendar is, I don't know. So each year we try to do something more. Yeah. So like the first year we did 32 beers. Okay, like next year we'll plan it in August, so that way you can start brewing earlier, and then we can start storing beers as we go.
How long is beer good for, like in a keg, when it's done?
In the keg, so if you keep it cold and your whole process is fine, it could, like, especially high alcoholic like beers will last like years.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's like, so it's all process. So like you don't want the beer to oxidize. So like you're making sure you purge the keg, everything's clean and sanitary. You're storing the beer at a constant temperature. It's cold, sealed. Yeah, it could last for a long time. So like people have bottles of beer that they'll store for ages.
Yeah. Okay. Because I've had some beer sitting around for a while.
Yeah. So if you leave it in like a hot like garage, and like there's certain beers that aren't, like, we don't pasteurize our beer. Like obviously we just want people to drink it fresh. Like larger breweries will be able to pasteurize, like eliminate any yeast. Like they can stay like on the shelf, like warm, like at room temperature.
Yeah, like a Corona can last forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you keep it out of the sun. Like you don't want any of like the UV hitting the beer. But you, like, if you store them correctly, they can last a long time.
Okay.
But yeah, the advent calendar. So like the first year, we did 32 beers, 32 days, and like Greg would do. So like we wanted this whole product. So Greg would do the artwork. So the next year we did 24 beers in 24 days, and then Greg did the artwork for each beer. So like we tell him like day one is gonna be, I'll just pick one. This churro stout with a cat. So we tell him like a story. So he'd be like, oh, so it's gonna be a cat with a mustache and a sombrero, and then we come up with a story. And then like the next year we're like, okay, let's make sure the packaging's even better. So we planned this out, I think in June. So you got packaging where it's the boxes, and you have like the pull cardboard with the numbers on it. And it was just like the packaging. It's like, I think it was my favorite thing that we've ever created was that advent calendar, because like the cans itself look like Christmas presents. So like you didn't like the fun thing with the advent calendar is you don't know what the beer is until the day of. So like we don't release the beer name or what it is. So like when I talk to other people about advent calendars, the first day they get it, they're opening every single beer. Like, okay, I have, or be like, let's just say, like Indie Ale House or Blood Brothers.
Yeah.
Like they'll look at the beers, like, okay, this is what I have for the next 12 days.
Yeah.
So we were trying to figure out how can we stop that from happening. So we didn't label the beers. All legally we had to do was put the percentage.
Yep.
And then if there was any allergens in it.
Okay.
So we're like, let's not post what the beer is until the day of, so people can't cheat. So it's like every morning it would be released on, there's be a QR code that people would scan. They wouldn't know what the beer is. They'd scan it. It would bring them to Greg's artwork, a story, and then we tell them about the beer. So each day was like a different surprise.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm just like, but like that whole project, it takes so much time. I don't think people realize, like, just from the packaging, like putting, like, we were hand labeling stuff like the first 2 years. Then we were writing like the numbers on each of the cans. Then like we were building the boxes when we were doing the our third installment of the advent calendar. Like the amount of paper cuts, like assembling all these boxes, keeping everything organized. Like it was hectic. It was like Santa's workshop.
Yeah.
Like I think we had all our staff. Everyone was working like 12 hours a day just to like get these all packaged. Because we had a time frame to get it out by.
Yeah.
And then we had to meet a time frame to do all the shipping to like all of Ontario. So like I think we were doing around like 320 of these 24 packs. And we're a small brewery. Like when we talk to other breweries, they're like, you guys are fucking crazy. And I'm like, yeah, it's fucking crazy. But it just being the accomplishment of actually doing that and trying to execute it, it was so fun.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Doing unique and cool things like that is great. Man, Greg's work, like, he can just make. I've never seen anything he does that isn't cool. Like I have to say, I think he's my favorite local artist.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you can tell Greg's artwork from just like the posters. Like you see the Phog posters or Meteor, or the TBX.
And there's like 4 behind you.
Yeah. And it's, just like the artwork. And like, I'd asked him like one time, like, how do you, like, what's your process in doing it? And he kind of showed me some like pictures of like rough sketches, and then he would scan it and then color it. I'm like, I would love to just witness a time lapse of like him creating a poster.
Yeah, he draws it by hand and then he scans it, right? Yeah. And then he just like tweaks the lines and the colors after. Crazy.
Yeah, and the color is just so vibrant. I'm just like, I think the reason like we have, I wouldn't say that we have such a big following, but like it's our branding. It's because of Greg.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's so eye-catching. It's amazing.
It is. Yeah. Like every time I do a show, obviously he does the poster. Yeah. Unless it's anytime it's one of my books, it's the cover of the book, obviously. So I don't, why would I do a poster? But and then like for this podcast, he did 3 logos. So he did that one, which is the Yorktown Square sign, and then he did the bridge, and it says Creatives of Windsor Podcast on the bridge, which I still haven't like technically released yet. Yeah. I was gonna wait. I was gonna do it at the 1 year anniversary of the podcast, but we already passed that. So maybe like year 2. Yeah. Because every time I put on an episode, I put the logo with like a picture of us sitting here, and I put that there with the colors from this. So maybe for like year 2 and 3, I'll do like the other. Yeah.
It's a cool changing it up.
Yeah, and then he has another logo. It's on our Facebook. I don't remember who's exactly in it. So it's like our cover photo. It's more of like a rectangle, rather than a thing. I'll pull it up here. I can show you because it's really cool. And show everybody because it's like I feel like people only see that first one. Because this one I've only really put on our Facebook. If it wants to switch.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the bridge, casino, what's that, Dr. Disc?
Yeah.
Who's that? I think that's the Walkerville Theater.
Or Capitol Theater?
Sorry, is that the Capitol?
Oh, no, that's Walkerville Theater.
No, is that that's obviously Phog. Yeah. This is Walkerville and that's Capitol. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. I think one's Walkerville and one's Capitol.
Oh, I would love if she can get Greg on a podcast. I would love to just.
He's coming on. Yes. I just gotta wait for his. I'd probably talk about him on every single one because everybody says the logo is cool. Yeah. So then we end up talking about him. But yeah, I love this one. This one's sick. I don't think I ever posted the bridge one, but I kind of want. Now I'm kind of curious. I want to see if I ever.
You got shirts or?
No, should I make some?
Yeah, I'd grab one for sure.
Yeah, maybe I should. But then it's like, it's just his logo. I don't know. Maybe I'll make them and then I'll just sell them for cost. Yeah. That'd be sick, actually. Yeah, I don't think I've ever posted the bridge. But anyway, yeah, I should do shirts, eh? Yeah. I'll do shirts and I'll get a
shirt swap.
Yeah. So my father-in-law owns Graphics Plus on Howard. Have you ever been there or seen that place? They do like logos and websites and everything, but they also like vinyl wrap cards and they do like literally everything, like t-shirts, business cards, everything.
That's awesome.
From like signs to anything, they print it, which is cool because it's a loco too and not Vistaprint. So I gotta, So
Vistaprint's local or out in Lakeshore.
That's the one thing about like living in Windsor, I guess, is Vistaprint is semi-local, because
you find somebody that works there, you get the 60% off code.
The one nice thing about Vistaprint is every time you order it from Windsor, you only have to put the 10-day shipping because it always comes in 1 or 2. Oh, really? Because it's so close. That's what I find.
That's a hack.
I've never paid for extra shipping from there. Yeah. Although I don't order much stuff from there because my father-in-law owns the printing place. But yeah, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do a run with the one logo. Yeah. And then a run with the other. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Try it out.
Man, those stickers though,
where'd you get these from? Die cut too.
Probably Vistaprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably had a sale. Greg gave me a tip. He's like, I always have designs ready to go.
Yeah. And just wait till there's semi-annual sale.
Yeah. He's like, I wait for the email from wherever and then order a bunch.
So one of the things that I found, one of the things I didn't think about before like starting the brewery was just how much stuff goes into like packaging and like the cost of everything. So like stickers, I remember there's different sticker places. You get like a circular sticker would be $1, but then I can find a can label, like a 355 ml can label, would be 13 cents, and it's like a 4x6. So like you can print those and just have a large sticker and it's like 13 cents. I'm like, man, that's.
Yeah, some things are like those stickers are like, wait, it was like $100 for 100 stickers. It's brutal, So I got to figure out my sticker game, but because I want to do a run of like the other stickers. Yeah, actually, I lucked out with those ones. What did I do? I ordered from the U.S. on accident and then called to cancel it and then ordered from Canada. Yeah. But the U.S. order, like, they canceled it and they refunded me, but they came anyway. So I got like a second batch, which is really nice.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I like that it's like, the die cut is nice.
It's fancy.
Stickers are cool because you give them out for free and then it's just like advertising.
Yeah, like our bar, well, like our back refrigerator bar has all the stickers from all the different breweries, and it's cool seeing people from like Lexington, Kentucky be like, hey, that's a local brewery. I'm like, I think one of my good friends ended up traveling over there, and he knew that we were collecting stickers. He'd always put like the different stickers on our fridge, so I do like collecting the stickers. This will be up there, or maybe at the new place.
Okay, you can take a few. I'll give you a bunch. Okay, so let's get like, we've been talking about like work stuff, but you wanted to talk about some travel stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I don't know, what stuff do you want to talk about travel?
So I asked you to come on the podcast like in October.
Yeah.
You just gotten back, like I waited for you to come back from the Philippines. Was that where you went?
Yeah. So I did want to do a big trip with my parents and my girlfriend. So we did a 1 month trip, and like going to the Philippines, like going overseas, like doing like a week or two is just like, you're going to be jet lagged for a few days. So lucky I was able to get some time off work, and then I had some bank time. I was able to do a month. So my parents are older, and just being able to like do that trip with them and kind of seeing it from like more of an adult perspective. So like I've been to the Philippines when I was younger, my parents taking me. When I did my backpacking trip, I met up with them in the Philippines. So that was like a different experience. And then doing this next trip with them being older and then with my partner, it was just like a totally different experience. Yeah. So it was really like taking them to a different country and kind of seeing their perspective, their eyes opening to like a different place. And then the first time I went on a cruise, so like they wanted to do a couple different countries that they haven't been to.
Like in that area though?
So we did like Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore. And I think we started off in Hong Kong. So we did like the cruise travel, and like I wasn't I won't say a big fan of cruise travel to begin with, but I totally understand it now. Like I totally understand of like everything is there that you need. Like for people that don't travel a lot, like all the decisions are there for you. Like and all the decisions are good decisions. Like you're not going to have a bad time. Yeah. Okay. But for me, I'm just like, I need to get off this ship. Yeah. I need to run amok. I need to go into like Bangkok and just like get some street food somewhere. So we had one night off the ship, and like we made the most out of the 24 hours. So, like my partner Carrie and I, we got off the cruise ship, and then we just did as much as you can possibly do in Bangkok in like 24 hours.
Every time you went to a new country, do you get off the ship for a day or no?
There's certain trips that you can dock for, like that you're docked for like at minimum like 4 hours. Okay. And then the Bangkok one was an overnight stay, so you can stay overnight if you wanted. Okay. So you can either stay on the ship, or you can get like we ended up staying at a hostel in Bangkok, and then did a couple tours around there. Okay. But it's definitely a much different trip than like my backpacking trip when I went like 10 years ago. Yeah.
No, I still haven't been to Asia. I don't know. I don't like the idea of a long flight. So I just go to Central America instead.
Yeah, Central America, I do find like out of the places that I've been to, Central America and Asia are very similar. Just like the climate, the people, like just it's island life. Like,
yeah, I figured it was kind of similar, and I was like, well, there's no jet lag, and it's like a 5-hour flight, and it's the same time zone. Yeah. Like it's nice.
You do need like, I find like for the way I like traveling, I do need a lot of time. Like I like staying at a place for like a week, and then being like picking up and moving. So like doing that Asia backpacking trip, I think it was like over 8 months or 6 to 8 months or something around there. So like I would like a place and be like, oh, I'll just stay here for a little bit, and kind of like you can talk to locals, you can find like a spot to go for like breakfast, and then just people watch and just kind of see like what the daily life of locals are and talk to the locals. It's I like the long-term travel, like having the 1 week or 2 week thing. I'm like, I need, like I've quit my job 3 times to like take long trips. That's twice awesome. To take long trips. And I'm just like, I like the long travel because the focus is a lot different.
Yeah, and you have more time. I've never done anything long like that, but like I used to always do like 10 to like 16 days. Yeah. And to be honest, I don't like it anymore. I love like 1 week bangers. Yeah. But I like to stay. See, anytime I've done like 10 and 16 days, usually we bump around. Yeah. And when we do a week, we just do like one spot. Like I just got back from New York 2 nights ago. Yeah. We went for 3 days. Like we flew up Sunday morning at 4 a.m. and then came home Tuesday at 9. Obviously that's really close. Yeah. But like even like this, anytime I've been to Central America was always for 10 to like 16 days. And then we just went this past winter and we just did 7. Yeah. And I don't know why, I'm just like,
because I think having a bit, like you can't be away from your business. That's right? True. So I think the older you get, I think you can do the shorter trips, and it's just like, I want to sleep in my own bed. Yeah. I want to see my cat. Yeah. I want to see my dog. Like, I think doing those longer trips, like when you're younger, it's because you can sleep. Like I remember sleeping on floors, like sleeping at the airport. I'm like, I'll save the $7 on a hostel and sleep on the airport floor. Like, but doing that now, I'm like, that's not going to happen. I'll gladly spend the $7. Like I remember taking, I was in Myanmar, and then there was a first class bus and a second class bus, and the difference between the 2 buses was 75 cents. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to save the 75 cents. So it was, I think there was maybe like 5 of us on the second class bus. So it was overnight from, I forget where we were. So we see the first class bus, nice air conditioned bus, has like all the lights and like air conditioning, everything. We're like, oh, it's a nice bus. It was like $2.25. Jeez. And then like 10 minutes later, we see the school bus come up. We're like, oh, like, we look at it and there's like a bunch of cement like bags strewn across the whole length of the bus. And we're like, oh, that's not us. It's just like pushing these cement like things up to the next town. The guy opens up the door, dust just kind of billows out of the bus. And then he's just like, I think it was Begun or Mandalay. Like, he's like, come in, like, this is your bus. So we the 5 of us, I think it was like 5 of us that go in. There's cement bags strewn across the whole length of the bus too. There's jack post holding up the ceiling so it wouldn't cave in. And we're like, we can't, like, what the fuck? Like, we should have just spent the extra 75 cents. So, like, anyways, we're just like, oh, whatever, let's do it. So we end up driving, and we were going up, like, some hills. So they would have to stop every half an hour, get a bucket of water to cool down the engine. Like, they would throw water in the engine. Like, I think it was more, like, cement mortar. So, like, that was just kicking up. So like all of our heads were sticking out the window. I had like a bandana that was putting around my like mouth just to filter the air. And then like somehow I ended up I can fall asleep anywhere. So I ended up falling asleep, wake up the next morning, like 8 hours after. We all get off the bus. We all look like living statues. We're all like covered in dust. And I remember I blew my nose. It was like a statue that came out. And I'm like, oh man, I really should have spent that 75 bucks. But then you just look at everyone's laughing like, oh, that was dumb. Yeah. But you're just like, oh, let's go scope out the town. And then you're just like, lesson learned.
Yeah. I feel like the older we get, like, we just, like, yeah, you want things that are more comfortable. You have more money, whatever. And, like, you spend money on this stuff. But, like, when we were younger and traveled on nothing, like, you do get more stories out of that. Oh, yeah. Just doing, like, the dumbest shit just to, like, save a couple bucks, you know?
Looking back, I'm like, looking back now, I'm like, I really shouldn't have done a lot of the things. I'm like, oh, that was stupid. But then, and I remember like parents and friends like, that was, why are you doing that? It's dumb. I'm like looking back, I'm like, yeah, that was kind of dumb. But I'm like, I lived to tell the story.
Yeah. Like when I was in Costa Rica in 2017, and it was like the town we were in was like their like yearly like festival, like carnival. And they had like this little stadium, like all wood. And there was like bulls, like you could run, like people were running with bulls. And it was $10 to go sit and watch. Yeah. Or it was free and you just slid under the gate and you had to run with the bulls, but you didn't have a seat. So like me and my buddy, like we were with other people from our hostel, and me and my buddy were just like, here, hold our bags. And we slid under the fence. And it was free, and we were just standing out there, and then it was just me and him and a bunch of like locals, and then just like, that's it, fucking bulls on the loose. And it was like, the fuck, because you had to run, and then you had to like jump up and grab the fence, like the bull could run under you, and like it went like right, like it like it's like saliva and snot like got on me, that's how close it was. But like that's the best thing ever, you know.
we love to tell the story.
Yeah.
Do you ever take like scooters or anything?
Yeah, always. Yeah. We just this past winter I was riding around and I was like, man, this is sketchier than I remember when I was younger doing this. I was like I have a motorcycle. Yeah. So like riding a scooter like that is like very second nature, and it's also like really small and kind of easy to ride. And I was like, man, they'll just give these to anybody. Like, you can get fucking hurt riding this. Like, I don't want to ride a bike, but
$5 a day and limited mileage. And like,
no helmet. It's just like, we don't even give us a helmet on dirt too. Like I have a friend, like we have a friend, and they were in, it was like the first day of like a 3-week trip in Thailand. Yeah. And he hit the front brake on gravel. And like, if you don't know, you would just hit it, but like you have to use both or just the back one, and the second you touch that, you fall. And he dislocated his shoulder, and they had to fly home right away.
Yes, that's there's some sketchy stuff. You ever hear of like tubing in Laos? So, man, there's like a river that runs through, I think, Vientiane, and there's bars strewn across the river. And like, so each time you go, you get like a bracelet. So each day you get a different bracelet, and you see people like with their whole arm just covered in bracelets. So you know that they've been there, like every day they've been doing this tubing. And like the whole point is to rent this inner tube, and then you go from like bar to bar and try to make it to the end. And no one makes it to the end.
What's the inner tube for? Like
there's just like a river.
Like a river.
Yeah. So you're just tubing down the river,
and then you stop and go to a bar.
So you don't even stop. So like the bars literally have a 2-liter jug of like pot. Well, they just fill it with water. So a 2-liter jug, and with a rope attached to it, and they throw it to you, and you have to catch it, and they'll reel you in, and then you go to that bar. So if you don't catch it, you're going down to the next bar, and the people are like partying at the next bar because you can't go you can't walk over.
Yeah.
And then there's like, so we went during dry season. There's like tile slides. So people are going down these tile slides, dry season. So like the water level is really low. You see people with like bandaged arms, bandaged heads, and you're just walking around there's like the walking dead. And I'm just like, man, like, and everyone drinks. So like the first bar you go to, you cross the river, and then there's like a local Laotian kid with a super soaker full of their rum. So he lines everyone up, like pumps the super soaker full of rum, and he fills your whole mouth with rum. And then that starts off your 9 o'clock or 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning.
Jeez.
And that's the vibe. And each bar is different, and you go from different bar to bar. I'm like, this is insane. Like none of this would ever happen anywhere here. Like this is so tame.
We when we were in the airport coming back from Nicaragua this winter, we missed our flight, and then a bunch of other people missed their flight, so we were all waiting with them. Yeah. And this guy's whole body, like his whole right side of his body was bandaged. Yeah. And Nicaragua's a ton of volcanoes.
Yep. Like volcano boarding. I did that.
And he got fucking mangled. Like bad. Like it was
they're sharp. The volcanic rock is sharp.
I've been to I've hiked up one of the volcanoes, but I've never done the boarding. Yeah. I would.
Carrie and I did one. Yeah, I think it was Nicaragua in where was it? I forget what the city was. But yeah, it's a black volcanic rock, and the sun is just beaming down on you the whole time, and you're just like dying of thirst. And you get up, you're wearing like essentially a prison outfit. just like giant coveralls, and you go down and you pick up speed. So like if you get into a groove that people have kind of groove, you just fucking fly. And yeah, no, that was fun. And like doing like I think I did. You ever hear of Death Road in Bolivia?
No.
So you bike down one of the mountain ranges. So it's like a road just cut into like this mountain range. It's maybe like a car and a half width wide, and it's just sheer drop off. And you're biking down, and they stopped traffic. They built another highway, but then now these people just use it for like tourist biking, and it's treacherous. It's like you're just like, I hope I don't miss this turn or slide off, because it's just downhill.
Have you ever skydove?
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet. It's on my list.
Do it.
Yeah. I should do it, eh?
Bungee jump. Have you tried bungee jumping?
No.
So
I feel like skydiving is less scary than that for some reason. Yeah.
Bungee jumping. So the skydiving, you have somebody, like when you do it, you have somebody with you.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
You just let them jump, and that's it.
And you're not the one that has to jump.
Yeah, or pull a parachute, or do it. You just lift your legs.
You're just being present, just enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
Like bungee jumping is like you're staring. Like so, there's a couple stories. So the first time I went was Nevis, New Zealand, and you're just staring down. I think it was like 134 meters. You're in this giant canyon, and you're just like you can see individual rocks. So like you can see what's below you, and no one's pushing you. You have to jump yourself. So it's just like you have to build up that courage to just like, I'm going for it. Yeah. And mind you, it's like probably they have all the safety measures and everything. I remember looking at statistics. It's very unlikely things are going to happen.
Yeah.
So you're just like, it's very unlikely things are going to happen. So just kind of enjoy it, and you jump off, and you're just like in that free fall. But jumping, that moment right before you jump is just, it's like, I remember a heart beating. You're just like the countdown, 3, 2, 1. You don't want to not jump on the one. So you're just like 3, 2, 1, because you're there with a bunch of people, and everyone's just like 3, 2, 1, and you just go. And then the jump is just like, and just free falling. Like no one's with you. You're just
until it catches you. It's probably scary.
Yeah. Oh, there's another time in, where was it? Peru. So we were supposed to do this hike, and our hostel had like a group doing this hike. I think there's maybe like 10 or 12 of us. And there was some sort of political thing going on where they blocked the roads. So like, we couldn't do the hike. So they're like, is there anything else you want to do? And there's this thing called puenting. So it's called bridge jumping. And we're like, let's do that. And so I convinced everyone like, hey, let's go do this bridge jumping. So like we take the little van to like the bridge, and we're like, okay, what's this bridge jumping? If you see this guy on a bike with a backpack and just full of carabiners and rope, and we're like, what the hell? So he pulls out his all the rope and the carabiners, starts tying it to the bridge, and then we're like, it's not like a professional like building where you're doing this bridge jump. It's like a local coming with like carabiners and climbing equipment, and you're just jumping off this bridge. So he ties everything up on either side of the bridge, and then he has a harness that you jump into, and he tests it with a bag with some weights in it, and he throws it off, and then it goes down. It's maybe like 30 or 40 meters down, and you swing. So you jump on one side, and then you swing, and then you like pendulum underneath the bridge. So he does this, and he's just like, okay, who's the first one up? And everyone's just like, nope, not doing this. And I'm just like, I convinced everyone to go. So I'm just like, I feel obligated to go. I'm like, this is such a stupid decision. So I'm just like, all right, I'll go. And you just like, you put on the harness, you're on the edge of like the bridge, and you're just like looking down, and you can see like pebbles on the ground, because it seems pretty close that you're just jumping down.
Yeah.
And you're just hoping this equipment is going to be fine. But it was fun. You just jump straight out, and like it didn't give you like the tug of like the bungee jump that's on your legs and like on your like spine. It was just like on a harness. It just grabs you from, I think, the chest, and you just swing. It was fun. It was like $20.
It was like $20. Yeah, skydiving's expensive. I was thinking about going this summer.
Yeah. You have a place in mind, or Michigan?
Just the one in Michigan. If I were to do it like traveling, I would really want to do it in like San Diego, because you would jump like over the ocean and Mexico. Like you would see everything, right? So that would be like a spot I would want to do it if I was traveling.
Yeah.
Also, like in the States, you know, everything is usually up to code.
Yeah.
You know, so
You gotta go with somebody. Try to convince you think your wife would do it?
I asked her. She said no. I don't know. Maybe she would if I just told her we're doing it.
Yeah, just the build up, like just flying up is just like just trying to like build each other up to like, oh, we're going skydiving. It's cool.
Yeah, is it? Because how long does it take to get there before you jump? Like how long are you in the plane for? Like 20 minutes?
Something like that. Like so, I'm trying to remember. So I did one Australia and then one in Argentina.
Okay.
So Argentina one. So like I went through the whole thing before, like doing the Australia one. So I'm just like, oh, it was cheaper, obviously in South America, and I went with a couple people from the hostel, and I had my luchador mask. I'm like, oh, let's do a fun video. So I'm like, I took Spanish class for like a few weeks before traveling, and so I was like talking to our instructor. I'm like, hey, like, can you do like a wrestling match like in the air? So like I wore my luchador mask, and then he was behind me, and then we had somebody filming, and then we were like fighting in the air, and so we were doing like flips and stuff. It was so fun because then like you had no concept of like what was sky and what was ground. It's just like you're just like free falling, like we're tumbling, and I'm just like I'm hoping he knows like where up and down is, like how like close we are to the ground. That was really fun.
How long do you free fall before he pulls the chute? Like 30 seconds, 45.
Something like, I think something around there. I think it was like 14,000 feet.
Okay.
So it was like 42 seconds or something around there. I forget what the
and then
time
they pull
was.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you guys in any LCBOs or no? Or beer stores?
No, so like, we took a look at it during COVID and just our system size. Like with the system, I guess the LCBO system is you tell them what you want to sell it for, and they tell you what they're going to pay for it. So like we looked at the numbers. It'd be like we'd maybe get like a penny or two, just because like our system size is so small. So it's just like we had to, like, for us to kind of survive is like people have to come to the tap room
and buy it. Yeah,
and buy it there, because like we doing all these different brews, like it's what Walkerville could brew in a day would take us like a week and a half or 2 weeks, right? So it's just like there's that much more labor going into it, but because we have such a small brewing system, is we're able to do a bunch of different brews. Yeah. So it gives us the flexibility.
Yeah, you guys always have a million different beers. Like Walkerville's in a bunch of places, but like they only have like what 10 beers.
Well, Walkerville, like if Walkerville didn't do what they did, like introduce craft beer to a blue collar city, like when everyone talks about craft beer, like first craft brewery, it's always going to be Walkerville. Okay. If they didn't come out with like their honest lager, like the way that they did, and then kind of change people's perception of what craft beer is in the region, none of the craft breweries around here would survive, because they were able to, like, they did everything the right way of like getting, like having good relationships with like all the licensees and make sure the product was good and the customer service was good. Like that allowed other craft breweries to like kind of follow in their footsteps of being like, but we did it kind of a little different. We did different beers, but like a lot of licensees wouldn't have accepted us if Walkerville didn't introduce the craft beer scene the way that they did.
Okay. That's cool to know. When did Frank's come around? Before or after, or Frank before or after you guys?
I'd be after. So I think it would have been Walkerville and then Brew and then us. Oh, okay. Or actually, the Motor Burger was kind of in that time. I think they were before us too, brewing out of out of Motor Burger.
Are they still open?
So that's where Rose City Brewing is now. Okay.
I've never been there yet. And then Sandwich, they're pretty new still. Yeah. Yeah.
I think they would have been 27, 2018.
Okay, that's older than I thought. I thought they were a little new.
Yeah, it was definitely before the pandemic, and like it's cool. The brewing community is like, especially the brewers that we're able to chat with, just everyone's open. Like if our grain mill will go down, like, hey, come over, you can mill your grain over here, or oh, I'm out of these hops, do you have these hops? Or hey, I just need like a bag of grain. Like everyone's kind of really helpful.
That's nice.
And which is good, because like we're in a spot where we can't brew. I'm like, hey, like we want to be able to serve some of our staples, and then we'd love to do a collab. So like we want to do, so we've been started doing these collabs with different breweries, and then we want to start carrying their beers and start having guest taps. So usually the 30 taps that we do have in our tap room are all our taps, but now we're like, you know what, it's like, obviously we can't brew right now, so let's take on some other like craft breweries kegs, and let's do a collab with them, and like maybe, and then possibly do our own beer on their system if they have an open tank. So it allows us to still kind of be what Craft Heads was about, and then being able to collaborate, and then try to bring as many people together to enjoy beer.
Yeah, that's super cool. So this was from Amherstburg.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Oh no, Kingsville.
Kingsville.
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant to say Kingsville. Amherstburg. Next weekend, the Windsor Essex Bike Club. James was on the podcast like 2 episodes ago.
Yep.
He's doing they're doing their big opening of a bunch of new trails, and then we're going to. I think they're doing like the GL Heritage after.
Yeah.
That place is cool too.
Yeah.
That place is really cool. So how did the comedy club come to be, and how long is because you guys even have a sign up now and everything
so the comedy club, so it started, would have been 2015. So they were doing an open mic at Milk. Okay. And then we had original was Rob Kemeny. There's a really long story with it. So Rob came in. He's like, I'd like to do. He could actually tell the story a lot better than I'm going to tell it. But he came in. He's like, hey, I want to do open mic here, and we charge like $50 or $50, I think, for stand up. I'm like, sounds good. And it, no fight back, because it was just like, say yes to everything. Yeah. Just make it work. And we didn't have a stage. He brought his own mic, own speaker, and then year after year it grew. So I remember I'd be brewing in the back, and then he'd be doing stand up in front of our grain that was in the tap room. And then the crowd started getting bigger and bigger. And then I think during the pandemic, they kept on doing the Brewing for Comedy, and then doing stuff of some videos. And I think a lot of people got into comedy, a lot of stand up and stuff. Yeah. And then after the pandemic, when things started opening up, Paul Montaigne came on board as well. Well, he was on board, but then kind of more on board, and it started growing week after week. And then you can it was cool because every comedians, there's an ounce of truth to everything they joke about. So it's they're saying a lot of things, and not as a joke, but they're trying to make people laugh. Yeah. And some people don't like it, some people do, but I think everyone should just take it for they're trying to make people laugh. And it kept on growing. They advertised, and then you're able to bring in some new comics, and then they seen the open mic, and people would start attending open mic. They got better, and it just kept on growing and growing. So Rob and Paul ended up buying into the business as well. So they're part owners of Craft Heads, along with Mike Dordevsky, which is our barn manager, and then Jason Barzota, which is our head brewer. So there's the 5 of us now that own the business. So having that comedy club, it's just so after the pandemic, it's okay, there aren't as many people going out as there were. So definitely the climate of going out has changed. So not a lot of people are going out. So how do we bring people back in? And then we started hey, let's try to do as many events as possible. And there was a big kind of opening to have a lot more comedy. Yeah. And then Rob and Paul have such a good connection with all the comics, whether it's locally or in Michigan or in Toronto. And there's a lot of comics that have started in Windsor that are elsewhere now, that are now coming back, like Dave Merege, Max Sheldrick. There's comics that were born here or grew up here that are big everywhere else. And they're doing shows back in Windsor again. So it's being able, it's another set of artists, not necessarily musicians or photographers. It's comics are artists themselves. They're artists with their words, the way that they present their craft. Yeah. So being a venue to help grow or to help incubate that and to be part of, it's so cool seeing a comic work their open mic and then tell the same joke week after week, but in different ways. And you can if you go to the open mics, you can tell they're trying to work at like the delivery or setting up the punchline or pace, or like there's so much intricacies to how they try to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see like Mike, I talked to Mike quite a bit because he always works the Brewing for Comedy Tuesdays. It's just like, yeah, you like the first time they go up to what they're doing now is like night and day, but it's having that stage to give people an opportunity to work on their craft.
Yeah.
So like if there was no open mic, how can people grow? So like whether it's music, whether it is like, I consider like having a photography show as like kind of an open thing is like, okay, like what do people like? Like what, like if you don't know if you can't have a space to do that, then it's very hard to know what people like or what to be like, what to hone in on.
Yeah, especially with comedy. It's funny, even like really famous comics, like they'll do small venues and clubs like to try new stuff and then gradually work up. Like I went to the Comedy Store in Hollywood, which is like obviously a really famous place, but like very small. Like I don't know.
I haven't been there, but every podcast I hear is always the Comedy Store.
Yeah, they I think they probably only hold like 150 people.
Yeah,
and tickets are cheap, but like on any given night of the week, you could see somebody really famous. Like you could just go see like Chris Rock there. He could just be there, but you don't even know. Like I went there and I saw there was a bunch of people I didn't know, and then Bobby Lee was there. You know, So like, it kind of sucked because like he went in the middle. Yeah. So then everybody after him was like they all kind of bombed because his set was like stupid good. Like I've never laughed that hard at a comedy show.
So that kind of, like the comics, that's something they have to deal with, right? So it's like it's never for sure that the people before you are going to be worse than what you are. So it's just like, how do you deal with that? And it's just like you're on the spot. Like it's the one thing that scares me the most is going up and doing a stand-up like 5-minute set.
Have you done it before?
No, I have a bucket list. It's one of the things I want to do. Yeah.
I've heard people like that are real comics. Like I've just heard that comics, they'll sit and they laugh at like the things that the other people don't laugh at. Like when somebody's good and they bomb, like they kind of find it funny and like because they're all friends. Yeah. And it's like, oh, this like just didn't work tonight for whatever reason. Yeah, and they think that's hilarious.
Sometimes it's your friend up there. You're trying to rattle them.
Yeah. So like they said, like they'll just sit there and like it's funny when this worked like 10 times, but it just doesn't work today. And then they just like that's the funny part about it.
Yeah, but like that the comedy scene. So like the stuff that I've noticed is like people do help each other. It's just like opening up the doors for people to go up on stage. Like, hey, if this person's headlining, okay, come open or like be part of the show. And then it is a giant learning experience. Like sometimes during the shows, I'll go back into like the back room, like what we consider the green room. And you see people learning from each other. Like people will be in their notebooks reading stuff. And then people will conversing with like the headliner that's from out of town, asking them questions. It's like, I relate it to like when I, go to other breweries and I talk to the brewers, like I'll pick stuff up off of them that like I wouldn't necessarily do in our brewery. Yeah. So it's like technique or process or different ingredients. So it's like you see the comics doing the exact same thing. I'm like, have you ever noticed anything or like with other photographers or?
So like so when you shoot weddings, like because I do photo and video, when I'm doing one or the other, I get to watch the other one be done. It's actually really cool. Like if I'm the videographer there's a photographer that isn't me. So I get to watch them or, I don't really do it anymore, but like, for, like 5 or 6 years, I would second shoot a lot too. So like I would shoot for somebody else. I don't tend to do that too much anymore, but, that was really cool too. Cause like you pick up ideas and things they're doing. Yeah. It's actually really nice because I find like other vendors, like an officiant or a DJ, or they don't get to see, unless they're a guest at a wedding, like they don't get to see their craft be done very much. Yeah. And it's like, man, like I get to see them all and I'm like, that was terrible. Like you shouldn't have done that that way. Or like, this is wrong or whatever. But like, it's nice to get to go to weddings and be like, see a photographer and I'm like, I maybe should stop doing that. Like,
yeah, you start picking up on different things that you have a different perspective.
Yeah. Or like, that was a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it's like officiants. I was like, you need to go watch another one.
Yeah.
Cause like the way you did this part is wrong, but like, you just think that's the way to do it. Cause that's what you do. But like
self-reflection, you're just like, oh, what if I like, yeah, it's a cool, different, like you're in a different seat seeing what you're doing.
Like a big thing, some like DJs that I say, like, this is like a telltale sign of like a good DJ versus one that's not as good, is when the bride and groom enters, if they don't say everybody stand up, I'm like, it's like, that's just gonna like set the tone for me for like the rest of the evening. Like when they enter, like everybody has to stand. Yeah. Sometimes I'll be at the front, I'll be like, stand up. Yeah. I like tell the first table, I'm like, stand up. Or like for an officiant, so this isn't so much like the difference between a bad one and a good one. I think it's more personal preference, but I don't like it. Yeah. So a lot of the times they'll do the rings and the vows, then they'll go sign the register, then come back and kiss. I hate that. I love when it goes like vows, rings, kiss. Yeah. Then they go sign, then you come back and then they present them as like, you know.
It's a presentation. It's like it's an event, right? So you're just like, what's the best flow? There has to be a story arc kind of thing.
It drives me nuts when they finish the rings and they're like, we're going to go sign. And I'm like, no, that's when you kiss. Like, like you just did
because you're trying to capture that moment, right?
Yeah, it drives me nuts because then it's like, okay, like everybody starts talking, they're going to sign papers, then they come back and it's like, okay, now you kiss. It's like, dude, you like there was a build up, you know? So I gotta have a chat with some officials. There's actually a podcast called The Vendor Table, and two photographers talk about it's always like the same two, and they just like talk about trends and stuff like that.
It's interesting because then like what's normal here might be different somewhere else or same somewhere else. That's like each place will have a different niche because people will just learn off other people. Yeah. And then like it's what I've been doing, it's what I've been taught, but like somewhere else might be totally different.
Yeah, for sure. And I find like there's so many different trends with weddings. Like this is my 10th year shooting, so like a lot of things are different than when I started. Yeah. When I started, like everybody still did like a garter toss, and I haven't seen a garter toss in a long time. Like it's been a couple years.
Oh, really?
And everybody used to do that. Now I'm seeing like no bouquet either. No cake.
Why do you think that is?
The garter's just really awkward, and I think people just don't want to do it. Yeah. And I feel like it's just an older thing now. They just don't. The bouquet's not really a big deal. Like it only takes 10 seconds. And they're just throwing flowers. Yeah. But the garter's like, she sits in the middle of the room and then the guy does a dance and then like goes up her dress and takes her thing off with his mouth in front of her dad. It's so awkward. But like, again, as a like, whether you want to do it or not really doesn't affect me in any way. Like it's not, you know, I don't care. Do it.
Have you seen any other like I wouldn't say new traditions, but new things you're like, oh, that's cool, or that you would hope to see in other weddings?
A lot of the trends are like decoring like colors and like styles of bridesmaids dresses and stuff. Yeah. Off the top of my head, like parts of the day, I don't know. First looks are becoming really popular. Yeah. Even way more than they were before. Like for photography, like they'll like do instead of seeing each other on the aisle. And honestly, in my opinion, it just depends on what time you want to get married. Yeah. Like if you get married at 2:00, there's no need to do a first look. It's gonna be too early. Yeah. You might as well just see each other down the aisle and then we'll go do pictures. Yeah. But like if you're not getting married till 5, we have to do a first look. Yeah. Because like you're going to do family photos and then you're going to go like right into dinner, like through your cocktail hour, right? There's not enough time. So that's a big thing. A lot of people started implementing those. Some people get married at 2 and still do a first look and then go have their ceremony.
The pretend face. Yeah. The first look.
It's crazy. But other trends, I don't know. Some people take breaks during the day. Yeah. Those are nice.
That's good for you. Probably some time.
Take like 5 or not,
just a reset.
Yeah, like a half an hour. Like they'll be like, we don't want to do pictures for 2 hours. We want to take a 40-minute break and go to McDonald's. Yeah, and they'll go with like the limo and like that's nice for us too because like we can like chill for a minute. Yeah, like eat too and then like go get a head start on something else. You know. I don't know. Things are always changing. The things about weddings is like the bride and groom have like a lot to learn usually. Yeah. And they're always like kind of asking you for advice. Yeah. So I just try to be like, you guys do whatever you want, but like in my opinion, I've seen this work out.
What's your prep for like a wedding? Because like I've talked to a couple of wedding photographers, and it's just like, make sure batteries are charged, like multiple cameras, like things that could, like you can't screw it up because they can't redo the wedding.
Yeah, so I have the day before, I have like on Fridays.
Yeah.
I don't know, like around lunch, my batteries are always charged.
Yeah.
Just because like every shoot I come back and I plug them in.
Yeah.
But like my cards are formatted, batteries are charged. I go iron all my clothes.
Yeah.
I make my lunch. I come back out here, and then I just go through my list, but like I don't unpack my things from my bag, which is nice. So before every wedding, I clean all my lenses with like lens cleaner. Format the cards, make sure the settings in the camera are good.
Yeah.
And then I have like 3 cameras. But I tend to only shoot with 1 at a time. So the other 2 are just backups. And then I just have like 2 of everything. And then I load everything up on this couch, like in their bags.
Yeah.
So like the bag of light stands, this main camera bag 1, main camera bag 2. I put like my lunch there, my extra shoes, my clothes. So then the next day, like even if I don't have to leave the house till like 11, it's super easy. Like I just come out here, I grab everything off the couch, I put it in the car. Like it's all been checked the day before. Smooth sailing, you know?
Yeah.
2 belts, 2 pairs of shoes, 2 shirts if it's hot. You just, I don't know, try to be prepared. Sometimes 2 pairs of pants.
Oh, man.
Because like, what if my pants ripped?
Yeah.
Because like I'm bending down a lot in dress pants. What if they rip? What am I gonna do? Walk around with my underwear hanging out? Like, you know, there's no breaks.
Yeah.
I don't have time to get.
Yeah, you can't leave. You can't leave and go back. Yeah.
There's not even 10 minutes. Like even if like worst case, like I rip my pants, like, and I'm in the city, like say I'm at St. Clair, like I call my wife, can you bring me a pair of pants? It's gonna take her 15 minutes, but like I'm definitely doing something during those 15 minutes with ripped pants. Like, you know, I'm not just waiting around. We got stuff to do. So
like, is there anything like that you would want like at a wedding? Like, what would your ideal wedding like photography day be?
Ideal day. Honestly, like nothing's, but they're all good. Like no big deal. As long as I have a seat to eat at for the dinner is totally cool with me. Ideal. I like when the like reception is in Windsor because I'm home in 5 or 10 minutes and I'm like dead. But
it must be a long day.
Yeah, like my packages are anywhere from like 8 to 11 hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes 12 if it's like really needed.
Yeah.
But I would say most weddings are like 9 or 10 hours. And the only time you really stop is when you're eating, but not really because speeches are during dinner. Yeah. So you're just like, eat quick, shoot the speech, eat quick. There's one nice thing about like, okay, so like, get like when there's a wedding at Charo and I'm home in 8 minutes, that's sick. But like at Sprucewood, there's like this feeling when you get in the car and you have like half an hour to just like, when
decompress.
A lot of photographers say you'll drive home without the music on. That's how like you won't even like that's
no stimulation whatsoever.
You're just like, it's like the best feeling because like it's done and it was like it was good because like, you know, it's like we did it, like we got everything. Like there's so much like, oh, that's another thing I have to pack is like my shot lists and timelines and
so you prep up like all, like, are you strict with your timelines and stuff or
because I'm the only vendor that's with them from start to finish, I make a timeline with them like anywhere from like 4 to 8 weeks before, which they tell every other vendor like this is when we have to do this and that.
Okay.
And then I always say like it's your wedding day, like if you need to change the timeline, it doesn't matter to me. This like I will kind of go off based of the way their things are, what they want, and then what I think is best. Yeah. Like they'll ask me like, how long do we need for pictures here? And it's like, this is how long we need. Yeah. And then I pretty much make them stay on time all day. Yeah. Cause it's like, hey,
I never thought of it from that perspective. Like there's a couple of people at work that are getting married and they're like, oh, photographers cost so much. I'm like, man, you don't know all the stuff that they have to go through. It's not just like, they're not there just for the 8 hours. There's all the prep before and all the editing after. And just like the follow up, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. It's hard to tell a person that's not, I wouldn't say it as a creative of what goes in, like not doing a photography or keeping people on timeline. Like there's a lot more than just taking pictures.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the time, like, I'm always like the wedding planner too, because like we make that timeline and they're always like, oh, thank God, like now we have this, like now we know when everything is, you know. See, like when I got married, like I didn't have any of those stresses, because I know how wedding day runs. Yeah. But like other people, like they don't know. Like, how would you know? Like, unless you've stood in a wedding, but everyone's different, you know. So like, yeah. That was like the thing about our wedding is I just told my wife, I was like, this is everything. Yeah, this is it. Just like she just picked like colors. That's cool. In like dress, like style and decor style. Yeah. But I picked like all the vendors.
Yeah. Cause the photography that you've been doing is awesome. Like I love the nature stuff that you've been doing. Like you have a book coming out?
Yeah. You want to see?
Yes.
Thanks. My biggest book yet. It's 144 pages.
See, if you're leasing this and we had the brewery up, we'd make a California Gold beer.
Okay, so I wanted to talk to you. I'm like, it'd be cool to bring a beer in for the event.
Yeah, we love pairing beers with anything and everything. Like events, like we can. I think that's the fun, creative part is like hybriding or collaborating like a beer together, like telling a story through beer and then the art with it. And there's so many fun things you can do.
Yeah. So the book is all just like pictures that I spent. Like this is photos pretty much made all around California. And then they're all sequenced in a way where they like, you know, tell a story or just fit together. Or sometimes like different pages in a row will tell a story. There's some, but it's up to, you know, everybody to kind of put together on their own.
No, this is cool. Like, yeah, I'm really like travel photos. I have so many travel photos, but like this is something I would love to do eventually is just compile all the pictures I have that stored on a hard drive somewhere. And I just don't like having something tangible, like in your hands that you don't need to turn on. Not worried about battery power. It's just like, I could bring this camping and just kind of going through like, bring it to somebody and just flip through. Like, this is cool. This is really cool.
Thanks. Yeah, this was like I'm always shooting and working on projects, and then sometimes they become like a bigger thing where it's like, oh, we can do a book now. Yeah. So like they always don't typically start like that. Like I've been to California 7 times, and the last 4 trips were for shooting for this book. So that first time I started shooting film out there for the first time.
Oh, sweet.
And I was like, and then I came back and I was like, oh, these are sick. This is the whole book's on film.
Oh, this is all film.
So anything I've ever shot out there digital is not in that book.
That's cool.
It's all film.
Do you develop yourself or?
No. Just because like I couldn't take the risk of like, also they have like the scanners that are like $20,000. Yeah. So like the scans are very high res. And like the colors are perfect and everything. So because it's like such an expensive thing and like I just worked my ass off for 10 days, 4 different times, like I didn't want to take a risk of something going wrong.
It's probably like an art and a whole job in itself, developing everything.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Yeah, so like that trip I started shooting film and I was like, oh, that looks really nice. Like I'm liking this vibe. Yeah. And then I just was like, went back again, shot again. And I was like, oh, this could be something. And then I was like, okay. And then I went back 2 more times because I got to fill in the blanks. And then last summer, I'd been to San Francisco, but not shot film. Yeah. So I was like, fuck, I have to go north. Like I can't make the book and call it California Gold if I don't go there. Yeah. So
how far north did you end up going?
San Francisco was the farthest because everything in this book is more like, so like any like nature, like Yosemite, stuff like that. Yeah. Didn't really fit. The book is more like conceptual work and like urbanish. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So yeah, I just went to like that city. So it's pretty much like San Francisco all the way down the coast to like San Diego. Yeah. Different beach towns. And then out through the desert, like Route 66. That's like Slab City, Bombay Beach, just like different towns out in the desert.
Did you camp along the way or like what were you staying?
Every time was different. Sometimes I just went and stayed in a place for the whole time I was there. Never camping on these trips, never camping. Just different hotels. Or wherever.
Such cool scenery down there.
Yeah. So like San Francisco, when I went there, I only was in San Francisco for the whole week, but I also went to Santa Cruz for a day. And like
the pier and stuff?
Like those are both Santa Cruz. Yeah. I got so much, that's Santa Cruz. I got so much in Santa Cruz in one day. Yeah. It was a gold mine. And then those are both.
Yeah, Golden Gate.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, the travel, just seeing different things. It's like going somewhere else and then coming back. Like you do realize how it is nice around here as much as people shit on Windsor. I'm like, we have a fucking great waterfront. And like you can, like obviously the bike lanes aren't the best in Windsor, but it's flat everywhere. You can get to a lot of places.
Yeah. Denial said, like when Dan was on the podcast, he said he thinks we have the best waterfront view of anywhere he's ever been. Yeah. And that's probably true.
And like just having like, I'm like, they should put more stuff at the riverfront, but just having it as a wide open park, like
it's cool.
It's cool. It's just, hopefully you can just bring a couple beers down there and not be harassed of having a few beers down there, but the waterfront's great.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it down there. And then having Detroit next to us is really what makes Windsor, like, definitely, like, so, like, for somebody who likes to travel, everybody's always like, why do you live in Windsor? But no, Windsor's a great home base, especially for owning a business. Yeah. It's cheap to live here. It has so much you can do. The weather is, like, you get a little bit of everything.
You get everything.
But you don't get any natural disasters.
Hopefully not. Yeah.
Hopefully not. Like, you don't get hurricanes. You don't really get tornadoes. No. You don't get earthquakes. You don't really get like a real flood. Yeah. You know, nothing. You don't get, like anything, nothing like too extreme. You don't have to worry about like anything happening to your house. Yeah. You know?
And everyone has family back here. So it's family and friends that it's always going to be home.
Yeah. And then anytime you want a big city, it's only 5 minutes away.
Yeah. The airport, all the sports, all the concerts. Yeah.
That's another big reason. Like other people from Canada are like it's expensive to fly to the States, but it's cheap to fly in the States when you fly domestically. Yeah. Like I've California, wherever you go, like the flights are so cheap.
Are you just carry on only?
Yo, not even just personal item, personal item only. Yeah. Even when we go to like Nicaragua, we fly Spirit, just one backpack. Yeah. No suitcase, just fold it up and stick it in.
Carry on. If I can just do carry on the whole time.
And it's easy too.
Like, you realize like doing the backpacking trips, you realize what you don't need. Like 2 or 3 shirts. Like I think when I was backpacking, I had 3 shirts. Yeah. 3 shirts, a couple pair of shorts. Like I did carry a bunch of like I had my SLR camera, like a small,
take up a lot of room.
Yeah, camera, like especially if a bunch of different lenses. I tried to carry like 2. And like now I have like I have a drone, so I'm just like, oh fuck, now I got so much equipment. Like, I gotta really figure out to pare everything down.
Like when we went to Nicaragua this year, I did like probably 5 shirts, my like rash guard, which is like a surfing shirt, shorts, a pair of flip flops like strapped to the outside of the bag, 1 camera, 2 lenses, a battery charger, 2 batteries, toothpaste, deodorant. What else? Like I wear my pants and then put the 2 pairs of shorts in the bag, underwear, socks for every day. Yeah, like 1 pair a day. That's the only thing that that only gets a pair a day. Yeah. What else goes in there? I brought my GoPro this time.
Nice. Yeah, luckily they don't take up a lot of room.
Yeah, always an extra pair of glasses, and a second phone, just in case you drop or lose your phone. Then you can like at least have one on Wi-Fi. Yeah. And that's it. And that fits in a backpack.
Where's somewhere else? What's the next travel trip, or where's a bucket list place that you want to go?
Yeah, so we just banged out in New York for 3 days because I wanted to go shoot Pride.
Nice.
So that was wild. That was fun. Yeah. And then
film or digital?
Digital. I'm done with film after this.
Yeah. Traveling. That was the project. Yeah.
Traveling, when I started this project, a roll of film was $16, and now it's $33.
Wow.
Over 2-3 years.
Wow.
So, and traveling at an airport with film's a bitch because you have to get it hand checked.
Oh, because you can't put it through the scanners.
Yeah. So you have to fight with somebody at an airport every time you fly. It's annoying. Yeah. Detroit was actually always really good. Yeah. Toronto was not good. They wouldn't do it, and I just told them, I was like, you're not putting it through. So it was like I argued until they got somebody 20. But then you're late for your flight because of it. It's just a nightmare. Yeah. So this summer, no, we're just doing Ontario stuff.
Camping?
Yeah.
I seen the trailer.
Yeah. I had that. So I bought a trailer right before COVID. Yeah. And then used it 2020 a lot. Yeah. And we loved it. And my wife loved it a lot. And then in 2021, I tripled my money on it. because they were.
Oh, because they went up.
I bought it pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So I or not even I probably doubled and definitely doubled it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta sell this thing.
Yeah.
I'll sleep in a tent.
Yeah.
And then a couple months ago, I was like, she really liked it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, let's get another one.
Yeah.
So I just got another one. They're the best, man.
Yeah.
It's great. Do you have one?
We converted a van over COVID. So the van I have out here, it's a cargo van. So we put a bed. We have one of the portable toilets. I made a portable kitchen setup.
Sick.
So everything is all self-contained. And then we have a roof rack that has the paddleboard and kayak, and then a bike rack that has for our bikes.
Yeah.
So I can have all the toys I want to have when we're camping, and then just all in one. So I don't have to tow anything. So I can go into the city or town, not have to worry about trailer and everything, and just
That's nice.
Yeah.
I can do kayaks and bikes on the car, kayaks on the roof and then bikes on the trailer hitch. But if I'm bringing the camper, the bikes have to go. I have to get a hitch welded onto it or something.
Oh yeah.
But me and my buddy just went on a mountain biking trip in Michigan, and we just threw our bikes in the car.
Oh yeah.
And then just towed the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the camp, that's one thing around here is just there's so many good campgrounds around. Some of the the provincial parks are awesome. Some have the frisbee golf courses.
Yeah. Rondo has a pickleball court.
Yeah.
Rondo, we just went to Rondo a couple weeks ago just to kind of test out the new one. And then then I went camping in Michigan a couple weeks ago too. And then
have you been to Sleeping Bear Dunes?
No, where's that? Oh, that's in Michigan, the dunes there. Yeah. No, I haven't. It's cool.
That's a cool spot.
Here, every year I try to go to the Tobermory.
Yeah,
that's
classic.
Algonquin, I would say, is more beautiful in my opinion. I like that nature, the thickness.
Yeah.
But I have more fun in Tobermory for all the cliff jumping and stuff.
See, if you can do cliff jumping, you can do bungee jumping, skydiving without a problem.
Yeah.
Because you're jumping yourself. Skydiving shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I just gotta go do it. I gotta get some friends that are down to do it.
Oh yeah, it's you got to get the friend that's scared shitless to do it, and then it just opens up a whole new world to them.
I have a feeling you're right a high after that day.
Oh,
eh?
it lasts quite a bit because especially if you're there experiencing with someone else, it just seeing the excitement and just the change in people, it's awesome. It's such a cool experience.
You're feeling different when you hit the ground
especially if it's a friend that that was hesitant to do it and you can get him to do it. Oh,
okay. Yeah. When I do things anything, trips, whatever, it's always wife first. I ask her if she wants to go, and then if she says no, which about I don't know, maybe 40% of the time, then friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to. I'll try to convince her, and then I'll go with my friends.
Yeah. Oh, so that New York trip. Oh man, there's so many places I travel to or want to travel to.
Yeah. Where are you going next? Do you have a plan?
No, I think it's just camping for the next little bit, and then
it's so fun. It's so cheap.
Yeah. I just the nature. I'm just enjoying the just downtime. I wouldn't say downtime, but just unconnected. Mm-hmm. Just no phones, no reception. Book, journal. That's just enjoying that, and just time to just collect thoughts and just write stuff down, and then kind of refocus energy, refocus yourself into priorities and stuff.
Yeah, for me, usually traveling is just based on what I want to shoot.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing about camping in Ontario is I typically don't shoot much when we do that, but it is so much fun that it's okay.
Yeah.
But a good trip is I shoot and there's an activity to do.
Yeah.
So a surf all day, shoot photos at night, or climb or mountain, whatever,
Some sort of physical activity.
I have to do something. Yeah.
You got to release the energy somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got to do something every day. That's just to swap the battery.
Oh yeah.
But we're good for a few. Yeah. So is there anything else that you want to talk about that we didn't talk about? We talked about a lot.
Traveling, brewery. I'm just trying to think. What do you think the future of Windsor creatives are? Where do you see things going? Do you see that there's more people that are wanting to do things, or
I feel
the opportunity wise, and
I feel the scene has definitely changed from 10 years ago, when I started.
Yeah.
There's different people around.
Yeah.
I think a big focus, the core of our scene is you guys, because like that's where we do everything. So I think that like the whole creative scene is bands and artists are going through a big shift with you guys, whether you guys like know it right away or not. But when you guys go there,
what do you mean? Like, I'm intrigued by that because I'm like
I feel like every major project, like at the end of it, comes down to like you guys house it for us, like a CD release or a comic doing something big. Like it all, like the end of it is you guys. Like the end of like our journeys is always with like you or Tom or at Villains or me, whatever. Like, so the fact that you guys are moving, like switches everything up for us. And kind of like, now I'm thinking about like, how could a collaborative show be done there? Or where could I hang work for like a new show? Or bands are probably thinking like, oh, we could do a show like on the patio here, but then like have beer from Craft Heads. And the way we're kind of doing our stuff, like presenting it is kind of different.
Because it's like when we initially started the brewery, it was just like, oh, let's make some adventurous beers and let's do things that no one else is doing. But then like as it like evolving and understanding the art scene and how that incorporates of what we do. So it's like my passion was doing the different beers and being able to have an open space. Like I think having that open space and just saying like, yeah, come in, like I want everyone to pursue their passion and like learn from it. It's just like do it once, the second time is gonna be even better. So like keep on doing that and just being a house for that. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that I've learned. Just like brewing beers became a minor thing to what I guess Craft Heads stood for or like stands for. And like I thought it was just like we're a brewery, but it's more than a brewery now. It's become like the headquarters for comedy in Windsor. Like people like doing their shows or doing an open mic, like Kevin's open mic on Sundays. Like people that can't attend the open mic on at Phog on Mondays will come on Sundays with Kevin. They're able to do have some stage time. Yeah, and it's the like Craft Heads itself has evolved into a lot more than what I had originally thought it was, and I think it's in a better path, of, like more sustainable into like I guess incubating this creative scene, and making sure that it does kind of continue.
I think like with you guys give us all an option to do everything by always saying yes, and not being like judgmental. It's always free. Like that's huge. It sucks that like our city really doesn't do anything at all for us, and it just comes down to like, you guys are just bars, but like you're not even, but like that's what you were supposed to be. But now you guys are art galleries and music halls. And I also like when anybody's doing stuff that's like bringing everybody together, like what Murad's doing with like all his new Mousetrap stuff, like that's really cool. Hopefully he keeps up with that for a while, and just Sheila and Eamon have the cassette records thing going on, and they're putting on like a bunch of shows and bringing bands to the Dominion House, which is really cool. Like they just collabed with Murad on the last Mousetrap, and then they had Randy from the Trailer Park Boys come. So that's cool. I just like, it sucks. I wish our city did like more stuff for the artists, you know? Because they have unlimited freaking funding. Like, you know, you guys are just businesses, and like they have like real dollars that they could like do whatever for us, or throw these events. Like, I don't know, why isn't there like a local thing at the stage downtown? There should be something every year down there.
It's hard. Like I don't want to get into the politics of stuff, but I think being able to have that alternative, like if the city's not doing it, there's a need for it, let's be able to have that stage for it. And always bringing people together. It's like whenever you go to hostels, like the common room, like you have the giant like long table, people from all around the world are sitting at one table. Like that's the vibe I always wanted. Is just like, I remember when you first started, I was working behind the bar, and then we had a 70-year-old couple that just came out of the Capitol Theater sitting next to 19-year-old Americans that are having their first beer at the same table. I'm just like this is what you would see at a hostel. I'm like, this is the vibe that we want to get. It's just, and they're talking to each other. like, oh, what beer is that? Talking like you're having conversation with a totally different person that you would never have that conversation with.
Yeah.
Like having that interaction is like, that's what we wanted, because for artists, it's now you're able to learn from other people, not necessarily in your same genre, but other genres. And you have a different perspective of applying that to your own craft.
For sure. And you guys did that language exchange too. Are you still doing that, or is that done?
So the language exchange is still going on. It's I definitely, once we have the new spot, is definitely grow that, like, because it gives, I want to do it more selfishly because I want to learn more Spanish or other languages. So I'm just like, oh, if I just do this weekly, and I'll be there. It's kind of twofold.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like preserving that culture, that art, and like people are passionate about it. I'm like, hey, if you guys want to do it and like you guys can organize it here, feel free. Like having that open spot. Like now we're doing video game trivia. Like we obviously have the comedy, then a lot of, or some music events as well. So it's just like, if anyone has events, like I know probably Tom said this on his podcast with you, is like, yeah, if anyone has anything, just come to us. We'll make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's true. You will.
We'll make it work. We'll figure it out.
I've been, Juliana said that I should bring the contest back. It's been a long time since I've done one. Those were fun because like everybody could submit photos and it didn't really matter your skill level.
Yeah.
It was anywhere from $1 to $5.
Yeah.
To that we could put in a pot, and then just whoever got the most votes in their photo just got all the money. And it was a lot of money too.
I'm down for, if you have an open space for it.
Okay. Yeah, maybe after like I wrap up my show and everything, maybe we'll do one. That'd be fun again. I want to, because like at first we did like just generic any photo, and then I started doing categories. I think that worked better.
Yeah.
Like a Windsor shot, and then like
what do you think your category would be?
I don't know. Like I liked when we did like 3 categories.
Yeah.
Because like there's obviously not a million photographers around here.
Yeah.
Like we need options. The number 1 category is always a Windsor shot because that's easy. Yeah. Anything in Windsor.
Yeah.
And then one year we did a portrait category. One time we did like a landscape category.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll just do a bunch of categories.
Yeah. No, I think it's such a fun thing to do, and like being able to tell a story with it too. And
yeah, like I think one time we did like a photojournal. He had to tell a story. Yeah. Steve Bureau won like every single one of those that we did.
Some of his photography is amazing.
Yeah, he's really good. He always won. We always used to do the voting with a pen. I think now that it's 2024, I think we can probably the phone. Yeah. I'll set up like a Survey Monkey or a testing type thing where everybody can just like send in their rating, and then it'll tally them all up automatically for me, and then I'll just know who won. Yeah, those were fun, like just announcing it. Yeah, I got to do that. I just got to think of some categories. I don't know. You have any ideas?
Oh, man. You could do, I always try to figure out how you can incorporate other places and other people. I don't know. Like you could do, just try to figure something out with like the service industry or like the bars, and kind of something along that. Either do portraits. I don't know, so many things you can choose.
A local portrait.
Yeah.
Another good generic category is just like a black and white photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were fun to do. It's cool to like get a bunch of photographers in a room together.
Yeah. It's one thing to have the competition, and then it's another to learn like, oh, how did you do that, or was a thought process in doing it? Yeah. Like just the behind the scenes of what goes in. I always love that stuff.
It's so cool too, because like nobody can be like upset about like the winners or whatever, because like it's all just like everybody that submitted voted.
Yeah.
And you weren't allowed to vote if you didn't put a photo in.
Yeah.
So yeah, photo in, you vote, and then
that's great.
It was always so like the winners always won by like quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Like it was like, oh yeah, that photo was like and then they won, you know. So okay, yeah.
What's your like one of the other things I always want to ask is having this like your business, and just kind of like what is your weekly schedule like? Like how do you plan out your weeks? Like do you wake up at a certain time, and like are you very regimented in your time? Because I feel like time is very like the most precious thing.
Yeah, so this has always been my rule. So Monday to Friday from 9 to 4, I have to be in the office working. Doesn't matter if I have a shoot or not. I'm in the office working. So like editing, marketing, emailing people, scheduling, phone calls, everything, just running a business, bookkeeping. I can do shoots during that time. Yeah. I try not to do too many shoots during the evening on weekdays. Yeah. Maybe like one a week or one every 2 weeks if I have to. Yeah. But typically it doesn't have to be in the evening. Yeah. I don't have to work in the evening unless I have a shoot. Like I don't have to be at the computer. Yeah. And then Sundays, I don't have to work unless I have a shoot either. Yeah. Or sorry, Sundays, weekends. Yeah. Saturdays, I typically have a wedding. Yeah. And if I don't book anything because I want the day off. Yeah, day off, yeah. Unless it's a big event. And then Sundays, what I try to do is take like 1 or 2 Sundays a month and like stack it with like families. Like family shoots. Because most families can only do Sundays. Yeah. So instead of doing one every Sunday at 1 o'clock and ruining the whole day, because I have to be somewhere, it's easy to just do like 10, 11, 12, and this Sunday's for work. And then for like my personal work, usually I like come out after dinner and work on stuff that I want to do, like the podcast. Like I don't really edit the podcast during those work hours. Yeah. Those work hours are more for like making money. Yeah. And then from 4 to 5, I work out.
Okay, yeah. So like some physical activity. So like pretty regimented and.
Yeah, I started working it into my work day. So like
So it's part of your work is working out.
Yeah. So instead of like I would go to the gym in the evening or the morning. Yeah. Now it's like no, we only work 7 hours and we go to the gym for the last hour.
And do you do a lot of stuff with your wife? It's just like going to the gym, or like is your time frame or your work days the same?
Yeah, so she works like a normal day. See, her business is different than mine. Mine is like a lot of my time is spent getting clients. Yeah. Not in like the work is only like half the time. Yeah. Her business is she doesn't have to spend any time getting clients, but she has to spend all day working. Yeah. So she's normal. She works like 8:30 to 5 every day. Yeah. And then we typically try to spend that's evenings. Why I don't like to work in the evening. Yeah. Because we got to have dinner together.
Yeah. It's like sometimes it gets so out of balance, like just continually just working and just, I think having balance. And like, as you get older, it's just like, okay, now you got to worry about like I got to mow the lawn because you can't have the grass too high. And then like, okay, I got to go visit the parents, got to go visit the in-law. Like, it's just like, okay, like those are priority, like family stuff is priority. And then just like working down and trying to figure out where, like, what time you have, and like the only thing you sacrifice is just sleeping, or just like trying to be as efficient with time as much as possible.
For sure. A thing we do too is like if I feel like we haven't got to hang out for like a day for the last little because we've been busy. Yeah. We'll just like, because we both work for ourselves, it's pretty easy. We'll just be like, 2 weeks from now on the Tuesday, like book it off.
Date night.
We'll even book off the whole day.
Yeah, that's cool.
And we'll just like go to Point Peely for the day. Yeah. Or whatever. And like we stick to keeping that day off. It's sometimes hard to do. But and then the other thing we do is, because we both work for ourselves, but we don't have employees. Yeah. So instead of having an employee to like ease the work stuff, we pay like to have our grass cut and things like that instead. Yeah. So like
just being efficient with your time, or just time, like, I could spend an hour, or I can spend an hour doing something that you want to do, or spend an hour cutting grass.
Yeah. I like in my, like, I would rather have, like, I'd rather both of us work and pay somebody to like do these things while we work. Yeah. Cause like a professional's faster and more efficient than we are, so they're going to get it done quicker, and as long as they make close to what you make an hour, it just makes sense to keep working and pay them to do it. Yeah, that's kind of how instead of having an employee, we just do that instead.
No, it makes sense, because it's the whole, it's not just the business, it's the life, your life in general, right? How much time you have during that week. Yeah. And it's such a hard thing. Like, the older you get, there's more things. Like, I don't understand how people have like a business and have kids at the same time, because a lot of my friends have kids. I'm like, it's lack of sleep and just no time, but like they're amazing parents. I'm like, I hope they have more kids, because I'm like, they're good people. They're creating good people.
It like when we have a kid, like I think I will be a lot more strict on like, see, people will be like, can you do this Sunday morning? And I'll be like, yeah, like I'll go do that shoot Sunday morning, or like, can you do this shoot in the evening? It's the only time it can be. Yeah, sure. But I think when we have a baby, or a kid,
Yeah.
I'll probably say no to things like that.
Yeah.
Just because, no.
Yeah.
You can't just always be, on the call.
Yeah.
You got to spend time at home. But the way it is, we're pretty good with it, though.
That's good.
It's nice for her. She never gets, a random, has to do something in the evening as, a dog groomer. Everything's set in stone.
And, strict time, open, close time. And
yeah. But for me, it's things are always whatever.
Yeah. And then you're there's weather. There's so many variables with what you have to do. I'm like, oh, man.
Weather's nice and bad. So, it sucks, having to reschedule.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is nice that, your things can get canceled and free up last minute.
Yeah.
And sometimes, it's nice to have that little breather.
Yeah.
And you didn't lose the job because you just pushed it.
Yeah, I just pushed it. But at the same time, now you don't have that good weather day. It's just the good weather day. Now you're spent shooting.
True.
Yeah.
I hate when, a Sunday off is, cloudy or, raining in the summer.
Yeah.
But... you know what I do is if it's shitty outside in the summertime,
yeah.
I just work on personal work all day and have stuff.
Yeah, you just make the best out of the time that you have.
Yeah, I do like winter because in the summer I feel I don't spend enough time on my personal work, my artwork.
Yeah,
because I'm trying to be outside.
Yeah,
doing activities. But in the winter, it's just art all day, personal work, anytime I'm off work, there's nothing to do outside, so I'm just grinding away at I made this book all winter long, and and then in the summer it's
you want to be outside. You want to be outside.
Ride my motorcycle or kayak or go swimming or whatever. Because I try to get so much out of the summer. You like that too?
Yeah, it's it's up and down with depends on what's going on, but I've been starting to wake up early, and every time I hear the birds up, I'm just automatically up. So I'll be up 4:45, 5.
You're an animal.
But then I'll end up falling asleep at I'm dozing off at 9:30 or 9. I'm can't stay awake. But I like getting up early. I just what
do you do during that time?
So last year I was training for the marathon. So it'd be waking up, stretching, and then running.
Which doing that activity makes it so you don't get tired throughout the day, right? I find. Yeah.
So that was kind of the schedule last year. Now it's just I think I'm trying to do more stretching, trying to keep the body loose. And then just kind of trying to plan out the day better. So it's just what are my goals for the day? What things I want to do, packing lunch, eating, trying to eat healthier. And it's just kind of body upkeep, and then go to work, come back, and then just whatever spare time I have. It depends on what's going on. But yeah, it's just, the time thing is just certain days of I have to go see my parents, go see, meet up with friends. I haven't seen certain friends in a while. So I'm okay, I want to make sure I spend time with them. And their schedules all over the place because they have kids. So I'm I have to be the one who be okay, I'll try to figure out a time that I can go. So it's a lot of juggling around.
The big thing I do with my days is I do the things I don't want to do the most first.
Oh yeah.
Or the things that are due. These 3 shoots and this video, I do everything early, but I'm these should all be done today. And that's going to take the most brain power out of my work day, and they have to get done, and it's it has to be done. So it's done first. So by lunchtime, nothing has to be done anymore. Yeah. It's an ease off your mind.
Do you do a to-do list or?
Yeah, I have a daily list.
Yeah. And do you update every morning, or do you do it before bed?
My daily list, no, I just update it throughout the day.
Yeah. Just running to-do lists, but you prioritize which stuff you need to get done right away.
Exactly. So when I go out to work tomorrow morning, I'll go through that list and I'll be this thing, no, this thing, no.
Okay.
And then I'll bring them all to the top.
Yeah.
And I'll put a gap, and those 5 things are getting done today.
Yeah.
Once they're done, then we can go and just get ahead on everything else.
Yeah.
But I update it all day. If I'm out for dinner, yeah. If I'm out for dinner and I'm oh shit, I gotta buy
groceries.
I gotta buy fucking light bulbs. Put it on the list.
Yeah.
While I'm out, just so it's on there.
Yeah.
So sometimes the list throughout the evening, if I added a bunch of stuff, is all disorganized because I just toss it on there.
Yeah.
So then in the morning I have to
reorganize, and then then you can plan out your day.
Yeah. Big things to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. The list is pretty organized too. There's categories. So it's general shit.
Yeah.
And then there's the editing is right under it, like what has to be edited. And then like you'll jump into the podcast section now, this podcast. And then there's like personal work list. I'm a list guy. Yeah. I got more fucking lists.
Yeah. I have like a little journal, like, and going through it, I'm just like, got to get more into the habit of like updating.
I used to be a physical everything. Yeah. And then I went to the digital list, and it's like, I can pull up my list at all times anywhere and add to it. Yeah. And I kind of like that. So
do you find like you go to write something down, then you have like 30 messages and you're just like, do you click on those messages?
Okay. So, I only check, so like a big email comes through, for example, like a wedding inquiry or something, like, or a bride like needs me for something that's important. Like I'll see it and I'll answer right away. Yeah. But generally, I only go through Facebook notifications and like my full email list on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Yeah. And I never open them in the evenings or anything like that. But I'll see it come up on my phone. If it's like a pressing issue, like I'll answer it. But for the most part, like to actually, because like I check every single email. Yeah. If I did that all day, I wouldn't get anything done. So I typically do it like 3 times a week.
Yeah, just like spend this hour, just go through everything.
Yeah, like cash all those e-transfers and just like do this. And those 3 days too is when I do like bookkeeping for the business. Yeah. Like record every job I've done over the last couple days. Yeah. And just shit like that, you know. There's always something to do. Yeah.
It's more than just taking pictures. There's so much more involved. Like you have to wear so many hats. It's like working for yourself.
Yeah, like I don't know. Well, so today, I guess technically I'm still working. I only shot for like not even 2 hours. Like I barely even shot for 2 hours today, and we're going on hour 9. Like that's it, you know. Tomorrow I have a shoot from like the last hour and a half of the day. Yeah. And that whole day before that is gonna be filled with like 6 hours of work that is not shooting. Yeah. So yeah, shooting's definitely probably only like 30% of what I do. Yeah, maybe even less.
Do you have like anything like what would current self tell the younger Anthony? Like lessons or just like
you don't have to like super nitpick everything. Like nobody's gonna notice that like tiny thing in that picture. Yeah. And they'd like rather have them back. Yeah. You know? And like the things you're nitpicking aren't even like mistakes, it's more like personal preference. Yeah. Which doesn't matter to the other person anyway. Yeah. And you can get more things done if you don't like worry about those little things. And then if somebody has like a little preference like that, they'll just tell you and then you can just do it after. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what I would be like, oh, we gotta like this is like a little off. Yeah. And it's like, dude, nobody cares.
They're there for like 3 hours just.
Yeah. It's like nobody, first of all, a naked eye is not going to see that. You only see that because you're a photographer.
Yeah, you're zoomed in too.
Yeah, you're zoomed in 10x and taking something out of a photo. It's like, what? You can't even see that, you know? Yeah. It's like they might not even like that one picture and do anything with it anyway. Yeah. So just like wait and just, you know. Yeah. I don't know. That's pretty much it though. I was like, I don't know. Since I started, I've been pretty like grounded with how my workflow hasn't changed very much. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing what you're doing. And like just your trajectory and stuff is like amazing.
Thanks. Yeah. Everything you guys have done at the bar has been great too. Like
we cool to see where some hurdles ahead of us trying to get the new place started. Like hopefully do a couple of like fundraiser things to just get everything kind of situated. Like I think we were trying to shoot for like 200 people, like occupancy is like 200. So you have to add like 8 bathrooms. Oh. Yeah. Which is just like.
Oh, it goes off bathrooms too?
Yeah. So like per 25 people, it's like 1 stall. And then now there's like a new thing where like a certain amount of people, you require staff bathrooms. So it's like, I think there's going to be 11 bathrooms in the place.
Jeez.
Yeah. It takes up, and I'm just like, oh man, that's a lot of bathrooms.
Like a separate bathroom or just like a stall, like 11 stalls?
11 stalls, yeah.
Okay. So like you need like 11 toilets or urinals?
Yeah. Oh, so urinal's a half.
Urinal's a half?
Yeah. So I'm just like, oh man. And I was talking to Tom, like, oh man, is there something we can make it easier? Like we're trying to figure out a way that we can just power wash the washrooms at the end of the day. So like have like a drain. We have to figure it out, but that's one of the things where like if someone pukes in the washroom, where you can just hose it down and it just goes down a drain and just like wash down the whole bathroom.
Yeah.
So we got to try to figure some of that stuff.
What has a trough? Remember thinking like troughs?
Like a trough,
Joe Louis? Yeah. How do those?
Like a pee trough? Oh, you can fit 30 people.
What does that count as for how many toilets? I don't know. Yeah, that's so many things so many things you don't think about. But I always say like the hurdles, like the hard stuff, like the problems.
Yeah.
Like, the way you get through that is like what determines like at the end of the day, like it being like you've done something great.
Yeah.
Like you look at Craft Heads as a whole, it's like, wow, like look at everything that happened. And you know, like all that bullshit and stuff, like it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it was all worth it, right?
Yeah. There's so many different hurdles, like things that you wouldn't expect. Like I'm sure you've experienced stuff that you're like, didn't know that was going to happen. And you're just try to figure it out. Yeah.
Like, so we just built her new salon.
Yeah.
And there was like, it was smoking out there. Like one of the there was smoke coming from like her breaker box, and it was really hot, but you couldn't see anything. And so she has like special plugs. She's running like a lot of dryers.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, like the more you grow, the more shit you have to deal with.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just like, okay. So like, I don't worry about that stuff anymore. Like I call the electrician that put it in.
Yeah.
They'll be there in the morning. I'm not going to worry about it all night. You know, like typically like you would do that. And like I would like worry. I'm just like, you know what? Fine.
Control what you can, like control the controllable.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you can do. Like, okay.
He came at 8 before she started work. He opened the box. He's like, oh, one of the things didn't switch.
Oh, okay.
You know, like when you blow, like when you pop the breaker, it didn't pop. So the wires melted. It should have popped. And then he's like, that's nothing. You would
swap out the breaker.
He's like, these things are like over $100. I'm going to send it back to the company. They'll send me a new one. No big deal. He's like, I'll put a new one in right now. Yeah. And that's it. I was like, can a fire start from that? And he said, no, not really.
Yeah.
He's like, there's nothing in there to like catch on fire. He's like, it'll just melt like it did.
And now you know.
Yeah. And he's like, he's like, that's not happening again. It's very rare.
Yeah.
And it worked out to be no big deal, but like, it's just, there's always something, you know?
There's always something. Always curveballs.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think about like out here, like what was something. Oh, this place, like this was too sealed and I didn't have enough oxygen.
Oh, really?
So I didn't really realize it. And then like my mom came over here and my wife to do some stuff for our wedding and they were working out here. And I was like, I can't really breathe. And I was like, I get lightheaded out here like after a couple hours.
Really?
And then I called my cousin's a firefighter and he actually sent, so I got like a
CO2 tester.
So there's CO2.
Or not CO2.
No, yeah, CO2.
Yeah.
Like what you breathe in.
We had to install one at the brewery because the fermentation.
So somebody was like carbon monoxide. And I was like, no, it's not carbon monoxide. It's what I'm breathing out. So I got a detector.
You get more plants. You got to get more plants in here.
So I got a system now. I'll tell you about it. But so I got one of those detectors.
Yeah.
And like after working out here for like half an hour, it was like stupid high, like no fresh air.
Yeah. And you just got to get tired.
So I called the fire department. They came. They looked at everything. They're like, like you can do two things. You can install like an air filtration system. They're like $3,000 that pumps in fresh air all day.
Yeah.
Or you can open a window.
Open window it is.
So every time I come out here, both windows get open. Sometimes I'll throw a fan on. Yeah. And then I kept that CO2 detector.
Yeah.
And with the window open, it just stayed normal. And then I talked to some people who do construction. They say with like new buildings and houses, they're like that.
Yeah, like the vapor, just sealed.
It's that vapor barrier, and everything's just too sealed. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. You open a window. There you go. That's it. But yeah, just like weird things that like for a couple weeks, like I was trying to figure out what it was, and I was like, "The fuck is going? Like I can't be out here, like you know."
Yeah.
And then you figure it out. It's fine.
You figure it out.
Yeah.
Make it work.
You'll always figure it out. Like you guys are gonna figure out 11 toilets somehow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of digging, and like there's a couple of things that we were talking about is like sponsoring a toilet and naming rights for a toilet. So that's gonna come out pretty soon.
Just to like, you pay to get this toilet put in. That's cool. It's like if you're putting them all next to each other, the plumbing, like you can just go drain to drain, like so that helps.
So right? we planned it so like we just run one long drain underneath the one wall. So it'll act as kind of a sound barrier to like our neighbors that are on the other side.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of kind of moving around stuff because there's a wall kind of that's in the middle, and then we want to put the fridge in between Phog and Craft Heads so we can both serve out of that fridge.
You're gonna use the same fridge.
Yeah. And that way it'll act as kind of a sound barrier between the two sides, and then have the kind of entryway between the two.
Cool. Are you guys going to keep a similar decor and look as you have now, and vice versa with Craft Head or with Phog?
A little bit, yeah. I don't know exactly what Tom wants to do with his side, and I know that like he wants to keep most of, like, he does want to keep some of the decor. I don't know what stuff that he can physically bring from his current spot, but for our spot, like, I like the stickers, I like the graffiti. I want to have that wall where if you can showcase some artwork.
The tables.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he probably wants to, beat the shit out of it a little bit and get some cool tile.
I don't know.
Or something on the
it might be like a fancy Phog. You never know.
So because you guys still have the other places open,
yeah.
Is it going to be for the meantime, like, is it going to be Phog 2 and Craft Heads 2?
So we have it's going to be at the Comedy Club downtown.
That's not going to be called Craft Heads.
No. So we'll eventually probably move the tap room over and then like just try to get everything running and then Phog.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I don't know what Tom's, don't know when his lease ends at his current spot or how long his lease is for.
I thought he said the end of December 31st.
Oh yeah. If it's December 31st, then he's going to be like, either he renews it or just fully moves into the new spot.
Crazy. When are you guys hoping to have these open by?
Yesterday. Yeah. It's just, so it's going through the proper process. So architectural drawings, building permits, liquor license, contractors in doing the stuff that we can't do ourselves.
Yeah.
Electricians in, but like a lot of the guts are there. Plumbing wise, it's like a couple of trench drains, and then everything up top we can kind of connect ourselves.
Okay.
And then just get up and going. But it's just like making sure everything's up to code, obviously.
Yeah, they're just gonna like rough in all the plumbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we did in her new salon, and then I just added all like the
fixtures and
traps and all that.
Yeah.
Shit. It's kind of easy.
So like it's just getting these drawings, and I'm like, oh man, it's a lot of bathrooms.
But the permits are taking so long in Windsor right now.
Are they?
Like, it depends, but you're not doing a new build though.
No, it's a current build, I guess. So that's the thing, is just like, we like a lot of people know that we're moving. I'm hoping that we can get it through the process. Like if Windsor is pro like business trying to help each other out, like I'm hoping that it doesn't get delayed.
Yeah, like so I built my studio pre-COVID 2019.
Yeah.
We sent the drawings in and got approval in like 10 days and they started building.
That's amazing.
When we did the drawings for our addition for her thing last year, 2023, we sent the drawings in May and they started building in September.
Oh, wow.
It was it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And but that's not, like, you guys are, it's different what you're doing, and hopefully it's a little bit better.
Yeah. I'm hoping, like, there's a lot of people that we know that work at the city that are like, they're good at what they do. They care about the community. So like we've worked with the building department in the past doing the Plisher renovation. They're like, everyone is helpful. Like,
that's good.
When we did the facade improvement, when we did like all our licensing, communication is great. And like we would follow up, they'd give us an update.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, you need this. We would do it. Next hurdle. So it was good. The communication was open. I'm hoping the same thing.
I hope so too. And yours is different. Yours is a commercial permit. Ours is residential.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, it'll be totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully that goes smooth for you guys.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, like if you said you were doing some rough in some plumbing, so can I give you a call?
No, I only take pictures. It's funny because like I build my frame, so like once in a while somebody be like, "Can you build a coffee table?" And I was like, "I can, but I'm not going to."
Yeah. You have your priorities. You have your own time.
Yeah. I do. I take pictures and I make videos and I build picture frames, and that's it.
I remember listening to one of the podcasts. Congratulations on your teaching.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I teach too, I guess. Yeah.
Jeez, just
Thanks.
juggling so many things. Like, it's awesome. This is awesome what you're doing. I have so many questions to ask about podcasting too.
Yeah, I know. Ask away if you want. It's
Well, yeah, I don't want to.
It's you can ask me after.
Yeah, I can ask you after.
But yeah, teaching at the college has been really fun.
Yeah.
It's cool there. They're great to work with.
So do you like, because I'm assuming you were one of the students
in that program.
And like
now I'm teaching in a program that I didn't take, but last semester, yeah.
Different perspective on being on the other side of like the desks?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have any like like, oh, I should have been nicer or should have been like different as like a student or should have done things differently as a student now that you're on the teaching side?
Not so much. I think like, okay, I wasn't a good student in grade school and high school.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really care about school that much. And then in college, I like put like 100% effort in, like got straight A's all the way through, like just did great, like was friends with all my teachers. That's why I got the job there. Yeah. Cause they liked me as a student and then saw my career so far and then called me and offered me the job. That's awesome. So I'm still close with them. I've always been close with them. So not so much that way. Like how I was as a student, I think I would just do what I did. Yeah. But it is so, I don't know. It's weird being like, I don't know. It's weird like
being the adult, the adult in the room.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely weird. First, like, so last semester, the winter semester was the first time I taught, and I made my course all from scratch. It had never been taught before. It was brand new. Yeah. So I had to make everything, like every lesson, every assignment, everything. Yeah. And like the first day, I was like nervous, and then by the end, I was fine. Yeah. And now this semester, I'm teaching a different program, but I'm teaching podcasting class. Yeah. But it's not my class, meaning like I didn't make it.
Okay. So there's material that you're
just got given everything. Okay. So the full timer, like I think he's just off for the summer. Yeah. So like he did the first 6 weeks. Yeah. And I'm doing the last 9. Okay. So like I think for the college it's like, well, I have a podcast, but I think it's like I'm already like an employee there now. Yeah. I'm on their books. Yeah. I've already been interviewed. Like I have all my emails and access to the grades, and I think it's easy to just like give me another class. Yeah. You know, they don't have to
you're already through the door. Yeah. You already got through all the paperwork.
Yeah. They just have to put me on the blackboard and give me access to the students. That's cool. So yeah, it's been this course has been fun. It's also been a lot easier because I don't have to prep anything.
Like, you have the best experience. Like you have actual physical experience doing a podcast, and the things that you're teaching is things that you've learned.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like it's nice to be able to like help them with their questions and stuff because I've dealt with it all from doing it.
That's cool.
But I love teaching the photography class though because it's like like all the slides, like I made them, you know? Yeah. So it's like really fun teaching that one.
Is that the first class you taught?
Yeah, that's the one I taught last semester in the journalism program. That was cool because like I just taught them like what I like. They give you like a list of things that you have to teach them. Yeah. But it's definitely not enough to fill up like however many hours you're in front of them for over the course.
So
you
have some leeway.
Yeah. So like I put everything in there I had to, and then I added a bunch of stuff that I wanted to or felt that I needed to connect things. Yeah. And you just like every week is like a new thing, and it's a blast. That's
cool.
Time.
Like being able to teach something you're passionate about.
Yeah. It's really fun. I do enjoy it. I'm thankful that I get to do that there.
That's cool.
And they're great to deal with, and it's not very much time. It's 4 hours a week. Yeah. Both semesters I taught like 2-hour sections. Okay. So it's very smooth.
Yeah. When does it start?
The one I'm in right now, I think we got like 6 weeks left. Okay. And then because the summer semester ends, I don't know, maybe like August 8th. Yeah. And then the winter semester is like January 15th to like April 22nd or something like that. Okay. Yeah. So I'll be teaching that again next year for the second time, which is cool. Like I'll get to revise it and be like, this, I didn't like doing this, or this was cool, or
it's like your own stand-up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. Like you just have to get out in front of them and talk to them too. Yeah. And it's like, whew.
Oh, the professional, like the presentation things, I'm like, I don't mind doing them, but I'm like, not a...
You know what I must say? It's when you were a student and you're doing a presentation on something that you've only been studying for 5 days, it's easy to talk about photography because I know everything I'm talking about. Yeah. So like my PowerPoints are very basic.
You're not regurgitating stuff. It's coming from experience.
Yeah, I'm not reading. It just said like, I pretty much gave myself bullet points and then just like... Yeah. You know, so it's actually pretty easy to teach about. Like it'd be just like you telling me like how to make beer. Yeah, you definitely don't need notes.
So those are fun because you're actually drinking.
Yeah,
and you're like getting have another sip. So it's a lot funner that way. Yeah. The audience is more captive when they have a beer in their hand.
Yeah, for sure. But like if you were teaching somebody about like running a bar or having a beer, you definitely wouldn't like need to check notes or anything.
You're just talking from experience.
Yeah,
like. when we talk about travel or talking about like you talking about podcasts, like it's stuff that is ingrained in you rather than like reading a textbook and then you're regurgitating those facts.
For sure. I think we hit on everything.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you had a list of stuff. Like, this is cool.
I do have a list. I've been going off of it, but I think we're good.
Thank you for having me. It's cool talking to you, and I'm so proud of what you've done and like what I kind of foresee what you're going to be doing with everything. Like, congrats on everything.
Thank you.
You deserve it. All that's hard work, like persistence. Awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And same to you. Congrats. I love that you guys are like being forward thinking and doing all this new stuff.
I don't know if it was forward thinking. It's just like, shit, we got to move. So, but we're got to make it work. Cause there's so many creative people that depend on the venue and what we kind of believe in that is part of what we are. Mm-hmm. That like we have to figure out a way to keep it going. We'll need a lot of help doing it. So like if you can come to the tap room, have a few beers, come to the shows. We're gonna be having some kegs and some cans probably in mid to late August. We're gonna be at Dropped on Drouillard. There's gonna be the Brewing for Comedy Festival. Like the comics are getting together to do kind of fundraiser for the move, and super thankful for everyone that's on that bill. Like it's like there's so many things that we want to be able to repay back. It's just getting over to that new building and then being able to have a space that we know that we're going to be there for a long time. With Phog next to us, and then with Windsor East across the street, there's so many things that we could do that I'm really excited about. But it's just these next couple of months of just going through those permits, we're gonna need a lot of help trying to get to that point.
Yeah, for sure. No, 100%. Yeah, everybody just keep up. Everything's on your Instagram. You guys are good with keeping up with your social media. So, go follow their Instagram and like check everything out.
Grab a couple shirts. This is all Greg's artwork.
I'm buying one of those for sure. Yeah. So, okay. Well, thanks for coming on, Bryan.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, it's cool just being able to chat again and just not being interrupted.